What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from Anton. Can't be looking like a Dusty. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you guys for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. Everything is awesome. Everything is absolutely phenomenal. It's awesome. I know I got a new camera lens. That came in yesterday, so we swapped that out. So hopefully we don't have any kind of problems or interruptions with what it is that we got going on here at the Millionaire Morning Show. What up, friends and family? They said good morning from St. Louis. What up, St. Louis? What up, friends and family? Shout out to all of my people that is out there in content creation land. Let me get a idea of where everybody is at. Where's everybody at? What city y'all from? What city you currently residing in? Matter of fact, I don't want to know where you from. I want to know where you at. I don't want to know where you from. I want to know where you at. Where everybody at? Where everybody at? What's going on, y'all? Give me an idea of where you currently reside at, where you currently hanging at, where you spend the majority of your time at. I see Toronto. DC is in the building. Arkansas. What up, Arkansas? I ain't never been to Arkansas. Abilene, Texas, Oakland, Winston-Salem, McDonough, Columbus, Greensboro, Oklahoma City, Richmond, Augusta, ATL, Frisco, Virginia Beach, Pittsburgh, Florida, Knoxville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, San Diego, Baltimore. Randy says she at home. Shout out to home. Nashville, Houston, Boston. What up, though, to Detroit? Mona in the building. Daytona Beach, Florida. Durban, Kensington, Grovetown, DMV and NY, Santa Ana, Charlotte, Sacramento, ATL, Naptown, Detroit. What up? Go Lions in the building. Myrtle Beach, Corinth, Texas, Florence, Fontana, Tallahassee, Alabama, Roll Tide, over the road in Green Bay. Shout out to my people over the road in Green Bay. Miami, Durham. I ain't seen nobody from Miami in a while. Tulsa, St. Louis, Tampa, outside of Tampa, New York, Greenwich, Dade County 305. They used to call it Wade County. I guess they removed that, huh? Boston. Shout out to Fresno, Mississippi, Grand Rapids. Our cousin up there in Grand Rapids. We over here in Detroit. Vegas. Vegas is over there getting flooded out. I was about to fly over there. Detroit did win last night. Tampa checking in. I'll be in Tampa Saturday. Tomorrow, I got to fly into Tampa and go over there and take care of some business. I'm going to fly back into Michigan. Shout out to my Lansing, East Lansing also, Carlisle, PA, West Palm Beach, Oklahoma City. Austin is in the building. The Bahamas. What's the weather like over there? Colorado. ATL in the building. Shout out to my dog, Classy Beats. Miami, New York, Mississippi, Clarksville, Fort Lauderdale, and Stockton. What up, friends and family? I love you guys. Rhode Island is in the building. Shout out to Mark Butler. My dog, Larry Walker, is in Fayetteville, GA. I got my girl, Erica Classy Climb, is in Detroit today. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Miss Lolita Gore. Said Los Angeles is in the building. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I am live streaming here right now in Detroit City, right off of Woodward Avenue. Shout out to all of my friends and family. Kojak is in the building. I got everybody. Let's get it. Let's get it. They said, Anton, you got them white teeth. Yes, sir. I had to pay for them, but I keep them clean, though. I had to pay for them, but I keep them clean, though. Shout out to my dog, Fi Brown in Philly. Plutonium screwdriver over in the Bay. What up? What up? What up? All right, y'all. So you know what we do on Friday. We got to get to the money. We got to get to the articles. We got to get y'all the news. We got to break it down. We got to make sure that you guys are entertained. I'm going to get y'all through y'all Friday day. See, that's what you can guarantee from me. I'm always going to make sure that everybody is able to get through their week, and you are going to have at least 2 hours throughout your day where you ain't got to worry about nothing but having a good time, being educated, entertained, and then we also get to the money. But we do it a little bit different on Friday, all right? On Friday, I like to give you guys an opportunity to be able to express your thoughts right here, live on the Millionaire Morning Show. Now, here's the caveat. You do not have to cam up. I know a lot of people are at work. I know some of y'all is over there in the daycare. Anton is modifying his language now. I'm not cussing anymore as much. When I do cuss, I catch myself, but I'm trying to get to that 30 million. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Antoine. Shout out to Elliot Jackson. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. We got to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to get right into it. So first and foremost, make sure y'all get that Teach Pack. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Ladies, you know you got to get that for your man because he ain't going to do it any better than he's supposed to be. Right? Fellas, don't wait for your ladies to get there. Make sure you got a pack for yourself. And if you're getting any other Teach Pack, go ahead and get rid of it. Tap the link that's down in the description. Make sure to get your Teach. 30% off your first order plus a free gift, man. Plus a free gift, man. Now, in addition to that, if you are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got so much information. I got live streams from Pocket Watching with JT, cam ups from people that were traveling nurses that I've coached, and they over there millionaires now. I got show you my W-2s. I show you how it is that I break it down and make so much money in content creation. I show you what I make on my job. I show y'all life hacks that help me to make an extra $500,000 to $1 million every single year with other businesses that I have, right? I got the game for how it is that you can interview like a king. I got the insight of how it is that you're supposed to budget, how to put your thing, how to put your business together, how to start it off, how to market it effectively. I've got live streams where I funded y'all businesses. I have accountants come in. I have everything that you possibly could want and need from a business perspective inside of the Patreon, and we're continuing to drop content on a weekly basis, including one of the most recent interviews, completely uncensored, and every single interview that I've had. Some that's not available in clips, and most of them are completely uncensored. They are all inside of the Patreon. There is no Patreon that is bigger, better, more informative, and entertaining than the Patreon that we have, and it don't even really cost you nothing. You can get it less than a Netflix subscription. You can get it less than a Netflix subscription. And we got the Discord for you guys to connect. And I'm funding y'all businesses in November, and I'm giving y'all grant money to be able to start y'all business without any kind of ownership in it. And I'm doing the meetup in DC because I fly to the cities, all of these cities. I flew to Miami, New York, LA, Las Vegas, DC, Detroit, Dallas, Houston. I've been flying all over the Glendale, flying all over the country to meet y'all in person. Don't charge y'all nothing. Just come through, kick it, bring my wife with me, and we have a good time, party, and shut the whole spot down. Network effectively. I stand on the bar and give y'all that speech, empower y'all, and then we connect with each other and we run that bag up. Man, listen, it ain't no better group of people and no better Patreon on the face of this earth than the one that's linked in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You have no opportunity than this opportunity, a better opportunity than right now to be able to join a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Let's get it, all right? Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, again, I want to remind you guys to hit a like for the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe. If you have not already, make sure you share this with at least 3 friends because we got to go and get that 30 million. You know what I'm saying? I will allow for you guys to be able to cam up when we power through a few of these subjects. You do not have to cam up if you want to express your thoughts because I understand that you guys are at work. Some of y'all trying to protect the bag. You don't want to be distracted. You ain't trying to be on the internet and all of that. I get it. But at the same time, if you can cam up, that's awesome. If you don't want to, I understand. But I'm going to give priority to the people that have smoke for me specifically. If you disagree with anything that I've said throughout this week, my sentiment on the Anton Daniels channel, you are more than welcome to express to me personally what you believe, think. We can have a cordial conversation and we can get it in. Now, it's funny. I want to make this one more caveat before we go into the show. It's funny because I'm always weirded out by the people that don't have anything to ever say to me, but always have something that they want to say about me. That is the weirdest thing ever. Now, I'm in a great space. I'm in a very great space, right? Meaning that I have no beef, no smoke, no problems with anybody. But that does not mean that they may not have smoke with me or they may not disagree with me. Shout out to the P Shank. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. That don't mean that they don't have a disagreement with me. But I give you guys an opportunity to be able to come up and face me or have a conversation with me, and let's get it off our chest. Listen, I think that it's healthy ways for us to be able to express our frustrations and anger, and I get it. I may not have said something that have rubbed you the right way. Well, come and get the clarification. That's what Fridays is for. We want to go into our weekend with good energy. We want to make sure that we having a good conversation. We want to make sure that we get clarification. We want to agree to disagree or get clarification on how it is that you see things so that we can come together. We want to build. We don't want to tear down. And so for anybody that has a disagreement with me on anything, especially with regard to the money, you are more than welcome to be able to come up on a platform and say whatever it is that you want to say to me. And I promise you, I will not use one curse word in order to have a conversation with you. But do not make any excuses as to how you feel if you're not really ready to face, especially you fellas, especially the men. I have been doing this show for over 2 years now, and I have always made my platform available for us to be able to have a conversation like men. Like men. Don't run over on Instagram and make a post about it. Don't type with your Twitter fingers and go over there and do that. Face me. Face me. I'm right here. And I have never prevented anybody from being able to come up on my platform and say what they wanted to say. That's what men do. All right? Okay, Pumpkin? All right, let's get to it. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats because I want to acknowledge the people that take care of me. Let me first acknowledge my dog, Mike That Dude, over there on Cash App. That's always holding me down. Thank you, Mike That Dude. You are truly the GOAT. You are truly the GOAT. Let me get into some of these other super chats and then we're going to get it rocking. Elliot Jackson says, let me know when the Revelto comes in. I'll bring my toy up and we can ride. Shout out to you. Says, also, what do you look for in business partners, both short and long term? That is a really good question. I don't look for business partners. I don't look for business partners. It has to be organic. Anything that I decide to invest in most instances, if I invest with somebody, I just become a silent partner. But in most instances, I believe in being 100% ownership by myself. And this is why I want to talk about this so much today. I want to talk about Diddy. I want to talk about the different break-ins. I want to talk about what's happening with Airbnb, so on and so forth. But I believe that I don't like discrepancies. I don't like issues. I don't like problems. That's why nobody can ever call me a scammer, because I've never sold anything to anybody. I don't even have my merch up yet. I keep promising y'all I'm going to drop the merch. It's not perfected. I've never taken anybody's money, and I do not owe anybody any money. And I believe that any kind of business partnership has to be organic. Even when I'm doing the November, fund your business thing. Even when I did it back a year and a half ago, no, a little bit over a year ago, I gave the money out. I don't have any expectation in return. I don't want to have ownership and nothing that you have, because I think that it can get messy, especially if you're not on the same page. You know what I'm saying? It turns into something that's a little bit different. So I believe in taking 100% ownership in it, or I take equity in it if it's a company or something like that. But even in that instance, I'll let you do your thing, and I don't want anything except for to mind my business and play my role of whatever it is that we agree for. So for me, it's a little bit different. I either want to own 100%, or I want to just fund you and let you do your thing. But what I look for mainly is good character. People that I know, people that's a part of my network. I'll give you an example. I like to use this example a lot of times. Let's say me and you go into business together and we wind up opening up a restaurant, right? Let's say we wind up opening up a restaurant. Well, you could be great at what it is that you do. I could be great at what it is that I do, but we don't have the same morals, ethics, and character. So then you say, even though we may be profitable, well, I want to use a lower grade of meat, even though it passes inspection. And then I say, no, our profits is enough. We don't need to go to a lower grade, but you want to increase the profits. Who wins? Who loses? Who gets to determine whether or not we do it or not? We are on two different wavelengths, and so we don't see things eye to eye. So what I would look for first is good character. Above business acumen, above anything else, I always look for good character. So that is a phenomenal question. Let me read a few more super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show. Antoine says, good morning, for super chat. I'm not bad. I'm not a bad person. I hate drama. I think I just lost 2 coworkers, friends, because I won't stop someone from fighting. Yo, you all right, Twan. Don't worry about it, fam. You got it. Mind your business. Stay out of the way and let these people fight themselves out of a position. You know what I'm saying? I think that you got it, bro. Class C Beats in the building says salute to the GOAT. AD, get those likes up, gang. Shout out to my dog, Class C Beats. Great show. Go and subscribe to his channel. Sky says, Anton, did you hear they shot up Lil Baby concert in Memphis last night? I did not. Send that to me, Sky. Sky, send that to me so I can pay attention to what's happening out here in these streets. I am not familiar with it. P. Shank says, I watched the Q show from Monday, and it was an interesting take on side chicks. If y'all have not watched that show, then y'all need to go back and watch it. It was a great show. O'Neal Harris says, take your flowers, AD. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for continuing to hold me down. Real Estate Jones, my dog. I pulled up on Real Estate Jones the other day. He didn't think I was watching. I'll be watching and seeing what y'all got going on. Bearded Dapper Services is in the building. Came through and dropped that fireball in the collection plate. David Simpson Jr. says, build back better Anton version. That's a fact. Shout out to you. Art by Fellas in the building. Came through and dropped that fireball. I appreciate you. Marcus Alexis Slow Flow says, what's up, my distant mentor? Love from Miramar, Florida. Shout out to my Floridians in the building. I appreciate you. Let me see what else we got popping up in here. All right, that's it. All right, so let's get into the show. Now, the first thing that I wanted to address, well, let me back up. Let me remove this. I think we want to get into the Diddy conversation. I'm a pivot. I was gonna save the Diddy conversation for later, towards the end of the stream, but I want to go ahead and attack it right now, right? Because I believe that there was a lot of people that were under the illusion that Diddy actually owned or had equity or a stake in Ciroc. At least that was my impression. I didn't think that he owned 100% of it, right? But I was always sold, and I always believe what is told to me. Let me say it again. I always believe what is told to me unless I have a completely different perspective or I'm provided with new information. I was under the impression, based off of how it was being promoted and sold, that Diddy was the owner of Ciroc. Well, shout out to them boys over there at Earn Your Leisure, EYL. They put on what I hear was a phenomenal event. And I hear, right, from sources that, according to a video that was recently released, that Diddy actually don't own any of Ciroc. And so I have not watched the video. I want to break it down, but I'm going to tell you, see, the first video that I'm going to play y'all before we get into the EYL video is a video from 9 years ago. Ciroc been popping for a long time. Ciroc been popping for a long time, 9 years ago. Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question. Peaches, do not buy a timeshare ever. Peaches, no, he is not a scammer just because he's into timeshares, but do not ever buy a timeshare. Peaches, the guy you're dating, let me pull this up. Peaches, Anton, do you know anything about timeshares? The guy I'm dating is in timeshares. Is he a scammer? No, it does not mean that he's a scammer just because he's in timeshares, but I do believe that timeshares are a bad business for you personally to invest in as a person that wants to own a timeshare. So no, he is not a scammer. That does not mean that he's a scammer. But I just would suggest you never get into timeshares, all right? How do we know, right? How do we know? I do be paying attention to the chat, y'all my people. How do we know that these celebrities, based off of what's being sold to us, by the general public, how do we know that these people are actually even billionaires? I'm not even referring this to Diddy. How do we know what these Forbes list is really talking about? How do we know whether or not these people is really millionaires? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know who owns what? How do you know that these press releases are real? How do you know? We all taking a word for it. I show my W-2s. I show my bank accounts. I show my brokerage accounts. I show my 1040s. I show my wires. I show what I make on a monthly basis. That's why I'm always going to be absolutely positively transparent with what it is that I do with my bag chasers. If you want to see all of that information, it is available for you inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But how do we know? Why do we automatically assume whoever our favorite celebrity is just automatically winning and all the way at the top of the chat? How do we know that these rappers' chains is even real? How do we know that their cars is really theirs? How do we know any of this? How do we know? Right? I'm always perplexed that we automatically just say you're not on the Forbes list or anything like that. I don't know anything about anybody. And so, again, I have to go based off of what the evidence is or what it is that you present to me until I get new information. This video is from 9 years ago. Ciroc was already popping. Diddy did an interview, right? This is from 9 years ago. Let me play this first, and then we're going to get into it.
For me, coming out of the recession, it was very important for me to get some stability, around my business, around my apparel business. Macy's is, the #1 retailer in the world, and they have been so loyal to me. And it was just a perfect fit for me. And as I was expanding into other businesses, I felt that I wanted to make sure that I had, some grounded security. But everybody's business model is different, whether it's Martha Stewart or whether it's Jessica Simpson or myself. And I've done very well in the apparel business.
It was 2002 that you told Busta Rhymes, pass the Courvoisier. Yeah. Years later, you said Ciroc.
Yes.
That's where I'm going. How did you know liquor was going to be the right way?
I mean, for me, it kind of fit my brand. You know, my brand, I was known as the king of celebration, the king of parties, and I wanted something that was luxurious and aspirational, and I saw an opportunity in the ultra premium sector of vodka. I was naturally a vodka drinker, and you know, I knew about Ciroc, and
how do we even know that he's a vodka drinker? I mean, let's just be real. How do we even know that he was really a vodka drinker? And I respect the hustle. Let's be clear. I have no smoke for anybody, let alone Diddy, all right? I have no smoke whatsoever. But what I'm doing is I'm using this as a learning exercise for the people that decide to tune into the Millionaire Morning Show, the greatest morning show on earth. I'm using this as an exercise in order to illustrate that everything that you're being marketed does not necessarily or is not necessarily a representation of what it is that you should be doing. And this is why I don't want y'all sitting here following rappers and celebrities and whoever it is that's standing in front of you throwing a product under your face, because then y'all start to use that as an example of how it is that we supposed to live our life. And that's not what it is. That's not the finesse. That's not the finesse. Let's continue to hear what he got to say.
I knew that it at the time, it wasn't, people weren't really connecting with it, with the messaging. And so I proposed to Diageo. Maybe we enter a partnership. Let's see how it goes.
He proposed to Diageo. He proposed to Diageo. Now, this is 9 years ago, right? The tape says whatever the tape says. If it's a lie or if it's a finesse, then he told it. He said that he went to Diageo and he proposed to them. He sought out them. He gave them a pitch, right? If I'm off, then correct me. I'm open to being wrong. He gave them a pitch. I'm going to read y'all super chat shortly. Thank you. And then what did you do when you proposed to Diageo?
I told them these, astronomical numbers.
Wait. He said he proposed to them that they go into a partnership. A partnership means that I have a stake in it. I have some equity in it. I have some sweat in this. You have some stake in it. You have a percentage in it. You got equity in it. And so we're going to come together like Voltron, and we're going to put your distribution and manufacturing together with my marketing, and then we're going to move this product, right? We're going to move this product, right? Okay, cool.
See how it goes. I told them these.
Hold on.
Really connecting with it.
Let me go back and play it again.
And so I proposed to Diageo. Maybe we enter a partnership. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
I told them these, astronomical numbers that I felt I could hit, and
you hit them.
I hit them. We take a lot of pride in the way that we have marketed and the success we've had, but we also take a lot of pride in the responsibility awareness aspect that we brought to the industry.
Is Diddy so valuable that you get to own a piece of a business without putting any money in to begin with?
Yes.
Is Diddy so valuable that you get to own a piece of the business without putting any money into it? That was the question. He said yes. Is Diddy so valuable that you get to own a piece of Ciroc without putting any money into the business? He said yes. Fair enough.
Why?
I would say because of the currency, the actual credibility that I bring to a situation. If I get involved in something, I'm not involved in a lot of things, and if I'm involved in something, there is a value to my involvement that has to be that has to be factored in.
Okay, cool. I'm with it. I watched this interview 9 years ago in 2014 when it was released on YouTube. I said, Diddy is killing it. Somebody in the chat said, who thought that they own it, or why would you think that they own it? Why not? Ain't that what 50 did when he introduced himself to vitamin water? Isn't that what Jordan did when he got himself involved in Nike? Isn't that what LeBron did when he signed his multi-billion-dollar deal as far as his lifetime contract with Nike? Instead of taking, and the blueprint was supposed to be, instead of taking a payment, right, for endorsement, you then instead reallocate those funds into equity, similar to what a CEO would do as far as their compensation. Tim Cook owns a large majority of Apple because his compensation is set up to where it's tied to his performance, and then he then gets equity in the company. Any person that is a Googler, right? Part of your compensation package, Facebook, part of your compensation package is that you get a base pay, and then on the back end, you get equity into the company that shares vest or continues to increase in value based off of when it is that you're supposed to be able to sell it, right? That's what happens when you go to a startup instead of going to a mature company already. A lot of times you take a lower salary, but you're taking a risk, and the success of the company is tied to the work that you put into it. And so you get an equity stake. And that's why when companies then IPO, an initial public offering, meaning that they go from private to public, then they become rich because they have a equity or a stake in it. Okay? So it's no reason for us or me, I'll just say me personally, because it has nothing to do with whether or not you believed it or anything like that. I'm just going to use myself as an example. There's no reason for me to not believe that he had an equity stake or a percentage of ownership in Ciroc, which is distributed, according to what it is that they're saying, by Diageo. Now, Diddy showed up at InvestFest in order to speak more closely about the lawsuit that he has against Diageo and the arbitration that they're going through, okay? And so he wanted to speak about how he turned it from a company that was losing, or a liquor that was losing, according to the title, $40 million annually, $40 million annually, to a $400 million plus brand a year. Let me go ahead and look at the video. I have not seen it yet because I like to react to it in real time. All right.
Let's get into this Diageo situation, right? So I want to talk about the relationship with Diageo. So this lawsuit that you brought against them, right? People might not know, but I think Pharrell was the actual first one to sue Diageo, and it was for unfair treatment. So you had a historic relationship with them, 15 years, going back to Ciroc, DeLeon. I never even heard of Ciroc until you started doing the commercials, blew it out the water. Then you had
15 years. 15 years. So he had been in business with Diageo based off of his success in promoting liquor brands for over 15 years. That is a decade and a half. That is no short amount of time for you to then do whatever it is that you want to do, go into business, have negotiations, get equity, prove yourself, so on and so forth. 15 years is a long time. Let's continue.
DeLeon, and everything looked like it was on the up and up, owned by a black man and all that. So a lot of people was confused when the lawsuit came about. You shared some information with us when we came to your house that we wasn't aware of. So can you really talk about that? Because I think it's a very interesting case study for entrepreneurs to understand.
Definitely. The situation's in the courts now, so I'm gonna share with y'all what I can. This is all public record. But basically, I was called to have a meeting with Diageo, and they knew that I was kind of killing things in the culture, and they were trying to fix their diversity problem. And through that, a meeting was set up, and I told them, you know, I want to be an owner, that I have these ideas from promoting parties at Howard, just remembering that I will always get the door and never get the bar. And so I said I have aspirations to have black-owned brands owned by black people behind the bar and a part of your organization. They're the biggest distributor of spirits in the world, biggest maker of spirits in the world. So we get a test project. I'm looking at their portfolio, and they say we could start something from scratch. But I'm looking at their portfolio, and I remember one night I was having a great time with Ciroc. I had some Ciroc. It was made by grapes. And I remember, you know, having just such the greatest time. And so the light bulb went off in my head. I said, I don't want to wait and
Somebody said something in the chat. They caught it. They caught what it is that I noticed from the very beginning, from the video from 9 years ago. I already said it. Y'all are on y'all toes today. Y'all are on y'all toes today. So either it was, because I understand the marketing. I understand you promoting the brand. I understand you had to shoot and tie on 9 years ago. You was continue to, build it up and all of that other type of stuff, right? So I get it. But he's saying that basically, it went a little bit different than what the promotional material said in the beginning, right? Shout out to Lionel. I like the chat. That's why we work together, all right? Let's continue.
Develop nothing. Let me show you what I could do with Ciroc. Let me show you how I could turn your revenue around. They were losing $40 million a year, and I went and turned it around and took it to 2.6 million cases from 40,000 cases. Okay, and so this is something that's never been done.
Clap it up for that.
And so 15 years later, even though I had that success, I was always fighting for Ciroc not to be pigeonholed as a black brand, not to be pigeonholed as an urban brand. I already went through that. I went through that with Sean John. They put me in the urban section. I had to go and disrupt the fashion industry, pull up on Fashion Week, and show them what that black excellence swag is about. And that's what we did with Sean John. And so with Ciroc, it was the same thing, get into the spirits industry. No matter what industry I went into, I always came up against this ceiling that they just wanted to keep me in the colored section.
So let me ask y'all a question, because before we get into the rest of this video, because I want to get to the part where you talked about ownership, let me ask y'all a question. A, how do you then fight for something that you don't necessarily own? B, doesn't this go against the thing that y'all said that y'all wanted? Let me remind you. Let me pull back up y'all memory. Let me reconnect you with what it is that y'all said. Y'all said that segregation is good. This is what y'all keep saying. Everybody tells me that Martin Luther King, even though I'm a fan of Martin Luther King, they go back and they readjust his legacy, which is absolutely false. And they need to go back and rewatch and reread and study Martin Luther King. They keep saying that Martin Luther King said that he was going to lead his people into a burning house because they then integrated with white people. And now y'all saying that we need to separate ourselves. We just need equal opportunity. Well, first and foremost, you can't have equal opportunity when you using somebody else's dollar, marketing dollar, didn't put your own money into it. And then also on top of that, you don't have any equity in the company. You don't have any voting shares. Secondly, I thought that y'all wanted to separate yourselves because y'all were the culture. Are y'all the culture or are y'all not the culture? Is it for us, by us, FUBU, or is it not? I'm just asking a question. You guys will be more than welcome to be able to cam up and hold me accountable. Or if you think that I'm absolutely wrong, you will be able to do that today, because this is what we do on this day. On Fridays on the Millionaire Morning Show, you are more than welcome to be able to cam up and ask whatever it is that you want. So do you want to separate yourself, or do you then want to continue to be promoted into the eyes and the ears of the people that you don't necessarily care about? Just curious. But let's go into it. So he was fighting to continue to promote Ciroc to not just be a black brand based off of his experiences. And again, I have no smoke. I have no disagreement or whatever. I'm just observing and I'm looking at it from a business perspective based off of my little old C student mind, right? He wanted to specifically promote it beyond just being a black brand, and he believed that Diageo had an obligation to do so based off of where he had taken the brand from. All right.
I would say for businesses, you have white-only business, just like you have white-only bathrooms back in the days, and you have black-only business. And so my fight is to always make sure that we could just do business. I want to be treated equally like anybody else. And so that's what the fight is about.
That's what the fight is about. He's telling you that that's what his fight is about. That is where he started to have issues with Diageo. This is where he's saying that this is what a fight is about. He don't want to be in the black-only bathroom. He wants to be integrated with everybody else. Okay, cool. I'm going to be reading the super chat shortly. Shout out to the chat.
And it's not me just fighting for me. I'm fighting for us.
Oh.
Because whatever bar I set, y'all have to come behind me on that bar, and I want to make sure that it's right.
Okay.
So that's what the fight is about, simply put. And the last things, to make it clear, was with Deleon. I still own Deleon, okay? So with Deleon, I sent my people.
Before you tell the story about that, just talk about the process of getting Deleon, right? Because it was you proved yourself with Ciroc, and so now there's an opportunity to create something else.
With a lot of, first of all, corporate America is made and built for white men. So when you're going into corporate America, usually your entryway is to help them with their diversity problem. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to open up doors. Sometimes you got to take that opportunity and get in. And so that's what I did with Ciroc. But I told them I don't work for nobody. Everything in my portfolio I own. So you guys have to know my ultimate dream is a tequila. Since I was a kid, I remember drinking tequila or being afraid to drink tequila at first. Since not a kid, a teenager.
Correction, please. Correction.
I mean, I was over 21.
Yeah. He was 21 at Howard. I remember it.
Yeah, but tequila used to have a worm in it. That's how dangerous they used to like market it. But I was like, I really love tequila. And this was before the whole tequila craze. So it's like you make a deal. You make a deal like, I'm going to advance this for you so then we could be good partners and you could give me what I want, which is my opportunity for me to own my brand and to be able to build generational wealth for my kids and my people. And I just need the same 24 hours as y'all giving everybody else in your portfolio. And I couldn't get that.
So let's break this down. Let's stop right there. All right. Let's break this down. You want an opportunity from somebody who's already the biggest distributor of liquors across the board, right? And you're asking them for an opportunity, meaning that you are basically an employee that is marketing yourself as a person that can then take the brand to the next level. You're a great marketer. Awesome. I'm with it, right? Remember when Ye had showed up to Sway in the morning and he said, you don't have the answers, because Sway was saying, why don't you do it yourself? Why don't the people crowdfunded? Why don't you do it like Dr. Umar Johnson and crowdsource it based off of putting your own money behind it and continuing to promote it and build it? Because every picture that I've seen outside of the Diddy stuff, outside of the Cassidy stuff, outside of all of the different chicks, and outside of Young Miami and everything like that, Revolt and so on and so forth, everything that I've ever seen is Diddy enjoying the fruits of whatever it is that they paid him. And we all used to estimate it, and we said that it made him a billionaire because he was the owner of Ciroc, right? He was on the yachts. He was out here spending the money. He changed his name to Love. He started a new record label and so on and so forth, right? And so you built it off of something that was already established. You did a phenomenal job. You was properly compensated as a result of it. And then you got your bag, and now you saying, listen, I want more, I want bigger, and I want better. And they said, no. You don't have any equity or ownership. You said, but I told you my dreams. That's literally what he said, word for word. He said, listen, you always knew that it was my dream in order to own my own. I always wanted to have Ciroc. I always wanted to have equity in it. I worked for y'all for the last 15 years. You knew it was my dream. Why aren't you guys continuing to give me something instead of just properly compensate me for whatever it is that the contract said that I signed on the dotted line? Listen. I was the person that was a CEO, and I owned Bad Boy Records with Craig Mack. And I was also on A&R, and I went over there for Uptown Records, and I was overseeing Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. And I signed Big. and Mace and Black Rob and Faith Evans, right? 112 total. You handed out Making the Band, Dylon, Ness, Ness, Babs, Bunny, Sarah. Y'all remember MTV's Making the Band? Making the Band. Huh? Fred. Huh? I got that memory. They had to prove themselves. Farnsworth, Bentley, right? Boys in the Hood featuring Jeezy. Young Jock. And on the stove. And down. It's going down. Aiming to the mall. It's going down. Anywhere you see me, guarantee it's going down. Verse number 2. You telling me he didn't read the contract? Danity Kane, Day 26, The Locks. If I got 24 hours to live. Cassie, correct. Anywhere you see me, guarantee it's going down. Verse number 2. On the stove. Are you telling me that he worked for 15 years, did not actually get the equity that he wanted, and it's not because of something that Diageo did? It was because he didn't read his contract? I want to hear the rest of this. I'm curious. Is there any way you see me going? He is going down. G-Dep, special delivery. I don't want that. Special delivery. I need that. Loon. Oh, yeah. I need a girl that'll ride for me. I need someone to take care of my body. She's the only Hitman. Mario Winans. Diddy gave y'all all of these people, and you telling me that he did not know what the hell was going on? Carl Thomas, Summer Rain. All of these people. Come on, man.
I had to send my people down to Mexico, and this is just to tell you what the fight is about. They went down to Mexico, and when they got down there, they found out that there was 0 agave planted for Deleon. So there was no plan for us to be successful. There was no equal treatment. The other brands, they had agave planted. They had no agave planted for me. And sometimes you have to go check even your partners to see what's really going on. And so when I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm going to fight because it's bigger than me. It's about not just me, it's about we, it's about all of us. So I chose my purpose over profit. And that's the whole Deleon situation.
Yeah, you brought up distribution. Yeah, clap it up for that. You brought up distribution, and you come from the music world, and so distribution is a...
Hold on, I need to say this. I need y'all to still support Deleon. You know, we gonna win this. Believe that. Still support Deleon, y'all.
Still owned by a black man?
It's owned by a black man. Owned by a black man.
I don't know what to believe anymore. I thought that Ciroc was the thing that was owned by the black man. Now y'all telling me that Ciroc has 0 ownership of the black man. You telling me that I got to switch my... Listen, we've been drinking Ciroc, peach, apple, the blue bottle, the red bottle. We've been drinking Ciroc since the beginning of time. All we know is Ciroc. We made this up. Now you telling me I got to go and switch over to go and get some new agave for Deleon? So they said, listen, you're not going to take the brand that we already have established. You was work for hire. You was an employee, basically. You was an employee. Now, we're going to let you develop a brand under our empire called Deleon. Deleon. Okay, cool. How do we know that he actually owns Deleon? How do we know how much money he's getting as a result of it? How do we know what the equity on? What is the equity? See, I understand that the guys that Earn Your Leisure and they put on a phenomenal event. I understand what they're doing, but you also have to be able to ask somehow, some way, even behind the scenes. You got to be able to ask the question so that you can get a better understanding to know whether or not this is what it is that we thought that it was.
Man, you come from the music world where distribution means one thing. For some of the audience who may not be familiar, I'm sure they could consume spirits, but they don't really know what it means to have distribution inside of that space. What does that look like when you're building a brand like DeLeon and Ciroc?
Yeah, supply and distribution is everything. Whether you came from the streets, we all know that. We learned that at a very young age. And so no matter how I market a product, if they just keep me in black neighborhoods through the distribution, I can never grow. I can never be as great as I could be or as great as we can be. You know what I'm saying? I had to go from me to we. And so when I started really looking at every decision I was making, I was like, that this is something that I have to change. I can't just come and get this check and not be changing the way the ecosystem is. So if you want to have a successful brand, you have to have, number one is you have to have the supply to meet the demand, and then you have to have the distribution. And so if people control your supply and control your distribution, they control your future. And so that's what I'm fighting for right now.
Or you can go and get your own Mexicans and have them plant your own agave, establish your own relationships, your distribution channel, get your logistics up, go and get your own trucks, go and get your own plants, and then I don't understand what the problem is, right? Build it from the ground up. Build it from the ground up. You know why I don't complain? You know why I don't complain? Because I understand that when I read my terms of service, right? And I jump on this platform called YouTube. I did not build YouTube. YouTube is a distribution channel that allows for me to be able to get my message out. Not only did I not build YouTube, I did not build the internet, right? I lease the connection that I have that allows for me to even be able to stream with y'all right now. I understand the space that I'm in. If I want something, and I'm gonna have to go and get it out the mud. I'm gonna have to go and get it out the mud. With regard to the real estate, right? With regard to the real estate, I'm building the house from scratch. I bought the land. I hired the contractors. Now, if the contractors come back and say, Anton, but we put all of this work into these homes that you are building, these buildings, these apartments that you're building, we put all of this work into it and we want more equity stake in it. I'm going to say, no, I'm going to find another contractor because they have zero ownership in what it is that I'm putting together. I own 100% whatever it is that I own. That's just, it just is what it is. And I understand this fight. I understand that he's marketing himself. I understand that he's going to get his bag and so on and so forth. But I guess the point that I'm making to you guys is we have to start being realistic with what we call equity ownership and whatever contracts that we sign that then either state that we're an employee for hire or we have an equity partnership, but we may not even have enough ownership or equity into that brand to where we can then have voting shares to determine the fate of the brand itself. Either that, or you have to negotiate the terms of service by which you then do business with somebody. It's just the truth. Listen, YouTube has provided a platform. Now, I could decide that I want to take my ball and go home and remove all of my content from the platform, but I do not own YouTube, and I cannot tell them whether or not they can or cannot change their terms of service. I can choose whether or not I want to be a part of the platform. I can go and move over into another platform. I can try and build my own version of YouTube, but the reality is that I do not own this platform. I am a contractor that is also a 1099 employee, so to speak, that then have the ability to do whatever it is that I do, and then I get a percentage of whatever it is that I put out there. That's just a fact. That's just the facts. So I thought that this was a very interesting interview.
So let's talk about Ciroc. Is that one of the biggest regrets that you made as far as not having equity in Ciroc?
No, it's not a regret. Everybody has a journey, and that's just really how, you know, corporate America works.
He has, according to that question and his answer, he has zero equity in Ciroc. So here's my question. If the equity that you have, which we don't even know what that percentage looks like, is in Delion, then why were we so concerned with what was going on with Ciroc instead of trying to spend the majority of your energy promoting and pushing the thing that you're building for yourself? Just curious. Just curious.
You gotta pay your dues to get in, and they make us prove ourselves over and over and over. And I don't have any regrets because the journey was the most important. And also, I'm not really letting Ciroc go. So, you know, I'm going through this, but it's part of the journey.
So there you have it. Aaron B said he was an Instagram influencer for Ciroc. That's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats because I want to get through the show and I want to be able to open this up for you guys to be able to come up on here and give your thoughts. Thank you guys for supporting the platform. D. Moore says, with the 2-ball, he came through and dropped that in the collection plate. I appreciate you, D. Moore. Service USA is in the building. Says, get the likes up. Is the likes down? Oh, my God. What is going on? It's over 1,800 and growing in here watching this live, and you telling me that the likes is down? The likes is down? How that happen? Where they do that at? Get the likes up or we going to go to another Teach commercial. Antoine says, correction, I won't stop them from fighting someone outside of work. Brick situation because I'm not a fighter. Just work. Go and get your bag, mind your business, and then go and make sure that you leveling up. Luke Colo, shout out to you. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for tapping in. Absolutely appreciate it. D. Morris is in the building. Says, had the best fun in Detroit at Greektown, and the vibe and slingshots on the street was fire. I met a fine black Canadian queen, and Diddy did a Jay-Z move with that liquor, like how Jay owned 1% of the Nets. They don't know about what's happening over here in Detroit, and that is a vibe. Shout out to D. Morris was over here in Detroit, making it happen, having a good time, hanging out in Greektown and running it up. I appreciate you for tapping into the city, big dog. Yeah, it's a vibe out here. I'm surprised you didn't see me outside of Greektown. You was over there concerned with that Canadian black woman. I got you. My dog, Tony Williams, is in there. Tony Williams says, good morning, Scony. No, we do it. It's SCONI. 8 Mile Sconies. That's the hood that I was raised in. 50 Cent sells champagne and cognac, and he doesn't drink. But I have to say the cognac is absolutely great tasting product. Shout out to my dog, Tony Williams, in the building. Civlap says, I have a feeling that somebody promised him something verbally. It doesn't count if it's not written down. Get it in writing. AP313 says, well, Mr. Combs, it's my dream to be a part owner of Bad Boy. I have no money. Will you work? Will you work with me? Or are you going to treat me like Mr. Diageo? Y'all wild out here in these streets. Antoine Wade says Diddy was a 1099 making that affiliate money 0.01 cents for every bottle sold. Scammed us. I wonder if that's accurate. Devontae says black folks love to talk Malcolm X but ignore the part of him calling them ignorant for begging to participate in something that belongs to someone else and be on an equal basis with the owner. I agree. Thank you guys for continuing to support the platform. Thank you for all of the super chats and people continuing to hold me down. Let me go and get into the next thing. Let's talk about got to get to the money, y'all. Let's move over. I predicted that this was going to happen before they even started negotiating. I've been talking to y'all about this for the past, I don't know how long. But not only did they call Ford's offer insulting, but the union, the UAW, shout out to all of my auto workers, everybody that's also depending on the auto industry, because it's a trickle-down effect. It's not just the auto companies that we have to worry about, right? Wages are going to start to disappear. Shout out to Latrell, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Anthony Gordon, I'm also going to read yours. I appreciate you. Wages are going to start to disappear. Suppliers that then depend on these same businesses are going to start to divest themselves and lay off workers. all of the different industries in which these workers live, work, and play in that depend on their resources in order for their businesses to survive, they're going to start suffering as a result of it. But the UAW believes that this is a fight not only that they can win, but something that is of high importance for them to solve for, because this could quite possibly be the last of a dying breed, the last contract that they can get. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me bring y'all into what's going on over here with the automakers, the Detroit automakers, and the UAW. And then I want to also tie it into Tesla.
UAW president blasting the latest contract offer from GM, calling their proposal insulting.
Just 1 week to go until the current labor deal expires. The odds of a strike are rising. Fox 2's Scott Wolchuk has the very latest.
United for a strong contract. That's the message here at UAW Local 372 in Trenton as they march in solidarity over to the plant, telling Stellantis, you better show up soon and you better show up strong.
So they said, Ford, we spit on your offer. GM, absolutely insulting. Now they're heading over to Chrysler, or Stellantis, formerly known as Chrysler, and they saying that, yo, if you don't come through with that big dog offer, guess what we gonna do? We gonna shut it down.
It's time for them to come to the table. None of us want to strike, but if we have to strike, we will.
A rally in solidarity.
We are the union.
We are the union. Hey, and you know what else didn't help this whole thing? Is the fact that the Teamsters got a victory from UPS prior to or during the negotiation. That absolutely put the nail in the coffin, because now people over at the UAW and the people that work for these automakers are saying, shout out to Anthony Gordon, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. People that work for the automakers, they saying, listen, we used to be the backbone of America. We was the ones that first, the factory line, the assembly line first came in. We was the one where Ford then built the Model T, right? Henry Ford and so on and so forth. We was the backbone of America. We used to be the ones that made all of the money. And now they looking at UPS. They looking at these McDonald's workers. They looking at the people that work at Arby's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. They looking at everybody online getting the bag. They keep seeing y'all pulling up in these Lambos, right? You keep driving off talking about I'm a boss chick. You keep emasculating these men that are out here working every single day, and so they want their fair share. They said, listen, we are the ones that used to be top dog in America. We used to be the backbone. We used to be the ones where you didn't even need a high school diploma. All you had to go and do is get your GED, and then you could get hired in, especially if you had somebody that you knew that could pull you inside of here. We used to be the backbone of America. We are the blue-collar workers. We are the ones that used to drive Cadillacs, Lincolns, Chrysler 300s. You know what I'm saying? And so now they feeling a certain type of way, because they said, listen, you're not going to be over there having the Teamsters negotiating. These dudes is going to be driving up, dropping our packages off of at our house, and they over here making $170,000. We're not going to be looking at these cybersecurity experts and these Googlers over here making $250,000 a year. We're not going to be having Anton over here having the bag chasers and he teaching people how they can have their life hacks over in the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We are going to make sure that we make these automakers pay, because we are the union. We are the union.
As the potential UAW strike looms over Local 372 in Trenton, the Big Three have until 11:59 p.m. on September 14th to agree on a contract with the UAW. What's your message to Stellantis?
To look at us again. Our quality's number one. We've got.
Look how tired she is. Look how tired she is. Honestly. This woman is out here working every single day. You know how you can tell if somebody is tired? It's not just their eyes. It's not just how they wear their hair. It's not the fact that they don't even believe in brushing their teeth out anymore because they just know that they got to go to work and ain't nobody at work paying attention to them anyway. You know how they know they tired? The number one way in which you know that somebody is tired, you look at their collars. If their collars are stressed out, I didn't say stretched out, I said stressed out. If their collars are stressed out, they are absolutely, positively exhausted. exhausted. If them collars is stressed out, man, let me tell you something, bro. I ain't never seen nobody that had drunk collars that was in a good mood. Even the dudes that was on the basketball court and they would cut their sleeves off, but their collars were still drunk. I knew that was the dude that was going to be following me the most. That's the honest to goodness truth. I knew the dude that cut his sleeves off in order to have a cut off sleeve t-shirt, or the dude that came in with the wife beater and his junk was already drunk before he got to the basketball court. He going to be hacking. Hey, man. Hey, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop hacking so much, bro. 3 feet, no check. 3 feet, no check. Man, back up, bro. I call 3 feet, no check. When that dude with the drunk collars and he start checking you, no, I don't even call ISO no more. Ain't no ISO. No ISO. When them collars is drunk, they having a rough day. It's a rough time in these people's lives. Shout out to Sub-Zero. I'm going to be reading them super chats shortly.
Got a great group of workers down here.
My message to the big three is we're not competing with no outside countries. We're not competing with Mexico. We're not competing with China. We got all the resources here.
Who taught this man economics and told him that this was not a world stage in which you got to compete with now? Who told this man that the North American Free Trade Agreement wasn't renegotiated by Trump? Who told this man that we didn't have a trade war over in China? Who told this man that you don't have automakers from all over the globe competing for businesses and competing for your business at the dealership? I can go to any dealership I want. I can go to Honda, Toyota. I can go over there to Volkswagen. I can go to Lamborghini, who Volkswagen owns. I can go to Audi, who Volkswagen owns, who also gives parts over to Lamborghini, right? I can go over to Hyundai. The Genesis is popping. Man, what are you talking about? This is a global marketplace. And yes, you are competing with Canada, Mexico, Taiwan, China, India, Germany. You competing with Japan.
The UAW is asking for a number of changes, including a 4-day work week, 46% wage increase over a 4-year contract, and a share of company profits.
Let me replay that one more time. I think I missed something.
With China, we got all the resources here.
The UAW is asking for a number of changes, including a 4-day work week, 46% wage increase over a 4-year contract, and a share of company profits.
All right, let me just make sure that I got this right. 4-day work. So y'all only want to work 32 hours. You want to work less hours, but you want to make more money. Hold on. Let me just make sure that the math is mathing, because right now in my mind and in my C-student mind, the math ain't mathing. So you want to work less hours, make 46% more, and you want shares in the company. I'm about to do my favorite angry man pose. Shout out to my dog, Angry Man. We got to give him the Angry Man pose on that one. Wait a minute. Let me just say this one more time. You want to work 32 hours, get a 46% increase in wages, and you want ownership in the company. What? I don't even think that they bargaining in good faith. This is crazy. At least UPS, they tied their $150,000 to $170,000 compensation in with the fact that you got to work an additional 10 to 20 hours a week. You got to work more hours. Them boys got to be out there slinging them packages, man. You got to work more hours in order to be. You telling me you want to work 32 hours a week, get 46% more money, and get ownership in the company. Man, what are they smoking? I work more than 40 hours a week on content creation alone. Man, this is insane. No wonder the union is going extinct.
Here at Local 372, it's about keeping jobs.
Come the new year, we're probably going to be down to one shift. So this is a fight for downriver community.
Just last year, we were 1,650-ish around people. This year, we dropped down to 679. We're going to.
So you lost over almost 1,000 people, and you dropping down to one shift. And you have less people that are a part of the union, and you honestly believe in your heart of hearts that the company is supposed to reduce the amount of money that they have available for you, but give it over to you a 46% growth, a raise, let you work 32 hours, and you're supposed to get equity in the company. What the heck is going on out in these streets? You know, if this was 2 weeks ago, back when I was still cussing up a storm, I would have said, what the F is going on out in these streets? It would have hit different. It would have hit different.
We're going to lose another 350 because they're going down to one shift.
And they're going down to 350 people. They went from almost 1,700 people at this one plant down to 350 people. It sounded like that they was already planning on dealing with you because they knew what you was going to come to the table about.
Regarding today's rally, Stellantis said in a statement to Fox 2, our focus continues to be on bargaining in good faith to reach a new agreement that balances the concerns of our 43,000 employees with our vision for the future. Product allocation for our U.S. plants will depend on the outcome of these negotiations, as well as a plant's ability to meet specific performance metrics.
Melbourne, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly.
Reducing
it's over, y'all.
And addressing overall costs.
That's it.
As you can hear, the passion strong tonight from these workers. Stellantis expected to submit their proposal by the end of the week. We'll keep you updated. Reporting.
It's over. Hey, most of y'all need to just be going to look for new jobs, honestly. A lot of y'all need to be going to look for new jobs. Real talk. I'm not even going to kid you. I'm not even going to cap. It's over. It's it. Y'all need to just go ahead and walk away and look for new jobs. It's it. That's it. It's over for y'all. Wrap it up. I got y'all. Listen, I got love for you. I want the best for you. I'm not even going to cap. I do want the best for you, but I'm telling you that it's over. If you think that you're going to continue to walk in and doing all of this, you can forget it, bro. Go and get a new job. Go and get a new skill. It's over. We're going to be doing a documentary over in Trenton or wherever it is that you guys have this plan at. And we're going to be talking about what it used to be. Man, we used to do really well. Remember, you used to go over and buy a car and you used to go over and pull up to that little bar over there. And they used to have them little sweethearts that couldn't wait for you to get off of work. And you was able to have your main chick and your side chick both at the same time. Them days is over. And y'all side chicks is going to leave y'all for a real one. Latrell M said they should have tranquilized his behind, talking about the big black dude. Shout out to Latrell in the building. I appreciate you. Anthony Gordon over here with the 20 ball says, I need to connect with you. I'm building a rental property from the ground up with some land I purchased in 2018 for $28,000. Okay. Land is not worth $160,000 and I want to pick your brain. Send me an email at antondaniels413@gmail.com or send me a message inside of the Patreon. I see what I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? I can give you the game. Shout out to Anthony Gordon making the adjustment and doing his thing. Says, you said the land is now worth $160,000. I need to know the details. I need to know exactly what your build is, how much you're paying your architect, what's the time frame by which you're going to be building this property. I can give you the insight based off of what it is that I've already learned in my own build process. So that should be interesting. That should be interesting. Shout out to Anthony Gordon and congratulations, my friend, on taking a leap and going on this journey. O'Neill Harris says UAW is allergic to economics. I agree. It's weird. Sub-Zero says left Chicago in 1994, moved to Cali, left in 2021, sold my house for $1.5 million. Now live on a ranch in PNW. No big cities ever again. But here's the key. Make sure you don't vote like you're still living in those cities. Mr. Halal is in the building. Says you still work 40 hours. You just do 4 10-hour days. This is a setup in Europe where they make more work for less. No, what I read in specific articles, and I cross-referenced in order to make sure that I was looking at things accordingly, they want to work 32-hour work weeks. What I read, and I could be wrong, is that the UAW is lobbying for 32-hour work weeks, not 4 10s. They looking for 4 8s. That's what I heard. I could be wrong. I'm open to the possibility of being corrected. I appreciate you. Milborn Jackson says, hey, Anton, is it better to go to community college to learn cybersecurity or to take an online course? I'm always of the impression in that you need to look at where it is that your ceiling is. Do you just want to get your foot in the door, or do you actually want to have a career? I don't believe in taking shortcuts, so I'm always going to tell you to do the thing that's going to be best for you long term. Take the community college route. Also, you need to be still working on mastering your craft, and don't depend on the community college to teach you cybersecurity. They're just giving you a degree. They're just giving you the foundation for you to be able to get a job. They're not necessarily teaching you how to master your craft. You still got to put in your 10,000 hours. All right. Kojak said, Anton, you are correct. I got family in the UAW and the big three. They want 4 8-hour work days. So I did read it correct. So shout out to my dog Kojak for substantiating that for me. Last thing, and then I'm going to open it up for you guys to be able to cam up. New York is cracking down on Airbnbs. Shout out to the mayor of New York. You just going to run this city into the ground. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Be prepared to be able to cam up within 10 minutes. We're going to get it popping.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. New York is going to begin enforcing a new law that regulates Airbnb rentals in New York. It happens today, and some say it could amount to an effective ban on short-term rentals. Robert Frank joins us now with the latest. What's going on here?
Well, Andrew, starting today, short-term rental hosts in New York, that's Airbnb or Booking.com, they're going to have to register with the city, and they have to comply with a new law that states you cannot rent out your entire apartment for less than 30 days, and hosts can only offer short-term rentals if they remain with their guests in the apartment. Hosts face fines of up to $5,000 per violation. There are about 40,000 Airbnbs in New York, but rampant abuse, that's where hosts rented dozens of units as kind of shadow hotel rooms. That led to a lot of neighbor and building complaints. City council members also say Airbnbs have raised rents in New York since they've taken all that inventory off the normal rental market. Airbnb calls the rules, quote, a blow to New York's tourism economy and the thousands of New Yorkers and small businesses in the outer boroughs who rely on home sharing and tourism dollars to make ends meet.
Let me back up. All right, so here's the caveat. Shout out to my people in New York. Shout out to everybody that's using their apartments and their houses and their whatever it is that they got going on. They townhomes and condos. Shout out to everybody that's using their places for extra income. All right, so this is what it is, right? New York, and I'm gonna tell you why they're doing it. New York is basically implementing or instituting a ban, right? Where hosts cannot rent out their apartment for less than 30 days. So everything that you do, if you go on Airbnb and you go on the application, right? You can do one of two options. You can do whatever it is that you want to rent it for as far as the short-term rental. Hey, you're going to be there for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, wherever it is that you're going to go location-wise. Or you can usually get it at a much better price if you do a long-term rental. So let's just say, for example, when I was down in Miami during the pandemic, and what I wanted to do, and I was wound up being there for like 3 months, 4 months or something like that over the winter time, and I took me and my family there. What happened was I went on Airbnb and I basically booked, and I wanted to experience different places. So I stayed in Midtown, and then I went over to Coral Gables, and then I stayed in a hotel because I did a deal with with Marriott, and it wound up being really lucrative. And then I moved back over to Midtown because we really liked Midtown, and Midtown was dope. Brickell, all of those places, right? But what I would do is I would basically do long-term rentals for Airbnb, right? And the further out that you book it in most instances, not all, but the further out that you book it in most instances, what happens is then you make it much more easier for you financially in order to be able to maintain that, maintain living in that location. Now, the reason why I say that for specifically the Airbnbs that was in Miami is because a lot of people go down to Florida and Southern Florida for vacation, for New Year's Eve, for Christmas break, right? And so Airbnb owners tend to raise the prices up in Southern Florida during the winter, especially now that Hawaii is completely messed up, because they know that that's where they're going to make the majority of their money, because during New Year's, it was like 70-something, 80-something degrees on New Year's Eve / New Year's Day, right? In other instances, when you book closer to the date, depending on if there's nothing going on in that specific city, then you can sometimes get a significant discount depending on what's happening. Now, in New York, it's a little bit different. The reason why they're doing this is because the price of housing and even rent in most of these locations over in New York City and in all of the major boroughs has skyrocketed and it's out of control. And then on top of that, they also have a migrant crisis. Let me say it one more time. The average cost of rent in some of these places, including, I heard over in Manhattan, has eclipsed over almost $6,000 a month just to have a basic apartment that does not have any additional room. And sometimes you live in substandard conditions and you got rats running across the street. The basic apartment is now eclipsing the amount of over $6,000 in a lot of places over in New York. And then on top of that, they're still trying to find housing for migrants. And so what New York did, shout out to Mayor Eric Adams, that is absolutely doing a horrendous job over in New York. What New York City did was they decided to leverage what other people were using as short-term rentals when people were able to make a lot of money based off of whatever it is that they listed their apartment for, Airbnb. And they said that we want you, or we're going to force you. Now, this is the government, especially blue cities, that are then overstepping their boundaries in order to then control what is happening in the market. This is not true capitalism. This is now becoming socialism. This is now becoming overtaxation without representation. Because what they're doing now is saying that, listen, in order to ease and hopefully lower the amount of money that it's going to take for people to be able to live in New York City, we have to put more inventory on the market. We have to artificially inflate inventory in order to hopefully, and they can't even make anybody lower their prices, hopefully lower the cost of living for you to then come and move in New York City. So now they're taking tens of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of units, and they're converting them over artificially. Even though you own them, you can't necessarily rent it out. They're taking all of these units that originally was allocated for Airbnb, and they're trying to force people artificially to then lease out their locations for longer terms instead of shorter term rentals, which they hope that then lowers the cost of living or lower the rent amount to then make more inventory available for the general public to then choose from. It's all a finesse. It's all a finesse. Now, how are they doing that? They're saying that you cannot rent out an entire place for less than 30 days, which you then now have said, okay, well, skip it then. I guess I might as well rent it out for a year or do a lease or for somebody to sign a year lease or 18-month lease in order for them to even be able to move here, right? Reservations have to be capped at 2 guests. The fines, according to it, is $5,000, and you actually have to register it with the city that they then have to list that on Airbnb. Now, it has been thousands and thousands of applications for people to be able to apply to use the limited amount of space that they have to then do short-term rentals. Guess how many have been approved? Less than 300. Less than 300 of the tens of thousands of applications. I'm hearing that it's allegedly over 20,000 applications that already have been applied for, and they have only approved 250 something odd or somewhere less than 300 applications for people to be able to utilize their locations as short-term rentals. Shout out to Omar. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. And you can get a $5,000 fine if you do not abide by these rules and you get caught doing something that you're not supposed to do. And the only way that you can also use a short-term rental, another caveat for it, is if you have to have somebody stay with you in the place with you and you have to be there with them. Talk about blue cities completely ruining everything.
Per violation. There are about 40,000 Airbnbs in New York, but rampant abuse, that's where hosts.
I'm about to drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to cam up if you have a question or if you have a discrepancy with me that you want to address personally. I am going to make that available for you. You do not have to cam up if you do not want to. That is up to you. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pin to the top of the chat also.
Rented dozens of units as kind of shadow hotel rooms. That led to a lot of neighbor and building complaints. City council members also say Airbnbs have raised rents in New York since they've taken all that inventory off the normal rental market. Airbnb calls the rules, quote, a blow to New York's tourism economy and the thousands of New Yorkers and small businesses in the outer boroughs who rely on home sharing and tourism dollars to make ends meet in a very expensive city. Now, hosts say registration is almost impossible. Many have waited months for approval. Thousands of Airbnb listings have already started disappearing from the website. City councils in Dallas, Philadelphia, New Orleans have passed similar rules. So far, they haven't had much effect because they're so hard to enforce. This will be the test for New York starting today.
I am going to drop the link in the description for you guys to be able, or it's already dropped in the description. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat for the people that are interested. Let me see. Give me a second. All right, so it's pinned to the top of the chat. Anybody that has a question for me, or if you have anything that you want to discuss or you have a disagreement, you are more than welcome to do so. I am going to read a couple of these super chats, and then we are going to go from there. Shout out to everybody on Cash App that helped me down also. Anthony Gordon says, I have the plans and everything. The house built next door that was basically a little bit less than 2,000 square feet. Sold for $382K. It was on an acre, and I split it to build two. Oh, so you've already built one. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, send me the email, antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we can have that conversation. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you, and congratulations. Omar is in the building, says, thanks for all of the game on a coaching call yesterday, Anton. Keep cooking on the show. Shout out to everybody that's got coaching calls with me. Shout out to everybody that's a part of the Patreon and his bag chasers. I know you guys is winning exponentially more than everybody else, and they can't figure out how you're doing it and why you're doing it. It's because you got mentorship. People need to get mentorship, all right? Jeremy H. says, reservations capped at 2 guests. What about a family of 4? By the way, when are the coaching calls back on? Y'all can send me an email. I just told Rita to open it back up to people that is on the reservation list. So if you have not gotten a coaching call before, you are more than welcome to reach out to me, and we're going to play it by ear from there. Shout out to Jeremy H. I appreciate you. Give me 1 second. And let me drop this in the chat one more time just to make sure that y'all taken care of. I also want to say this before we go any further. The name of this live stream is called Ownership. The name of this live stream is, shout out to Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. The name of this live stream is called Ownership. And why did I call it Ownership? I called it Ownership. I'm going to be reading that super chat, marriage, politics, and sports. If anybody got a question, you're more than welcome to hit the link in the description or hit the link on the chat. That's in the chat. And you can ask me whatever it is that you want. And you do not even have to be on camera. The reason why this is called Ownership is because I don't even think people really understand what the true cost of ownership is and what ownership should look like. I think a lot of people really believe that they doing something, and they also don't even know what comes along with ownership. And it's this myth. It's this It's this mindset and this mind shift that I think that we need to have as a culture and as a society so we can make more informed decisions and we can get better results. Just think about this, right? And I'm gonna leave you with this, and I'm gonna start bringing y'all up on the live stream. But just think about this: when you think about ownership, how much do you really own? What do you own? Do you even own your own name? Do you have any vested interest in what it takes in order to be successful? Can somebody lean on you in order to get a job? Just think about a lot of that before we start to get into it. Let me bring up my girl, Black Beauty, first. What up, Black Beauty, out here in New York City? Look like you over in NY.
Hey, my brother. I'm in Jersey right now watching a baby. Anton, I really want to talk to you about this conversation you're having right now.
What's that? Tell me about it.
Because I worked so hard in this city, and I'm not complaining because I'm a hustler. It doesn't matter. I worked 15 years in this fintech career, and I've been applying for new contracts for the past 2 months. And what I find now is like almost all of the contracts that have remote options are being moved out of the city. Like I used my boy's Atlanta address. I used Dynas Atlanta. You know who Dynas is. I used Dynas address yesterday so I could apply to a fully remote job because it said remote in GA. So I can't be remote unless I'm in Cali or GA. So I got to be using my other friends' addresses. Another thing is I had an Airbnb in Brooklyn, right up the block from Barclay on Park Place across from Sweet Chick in my apartment. It was rocking for like a year from 2018 to 2019. Then they sent this lady. She must have been an operative, some kind of agent. This lady, blonde lady, Jewish, she came. She didn't stay for more than an hour. Made a complaint. They shut my Airbnb down. Then they said it was because I didn't own the place. Yes. Right on Park Place between Flatbush and Vanderbilt. Everyone knows where that is. Across from Sweet Chick. I made so much money off that place. And I had my other apartment in Bed-Stuy, where I stay in the actual brownstone. So what I'm noticing in this place, New York City, is like, unless you are in with the corporate, like, I have corporate careers, I've been in it, but like I do my own thing. I find that there's almost like a conscious effort to put people in a certain category in this city. So it's like, and I'm not saying it's a race thing at all. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, there are a lot of us, and it's not just Black people. There are a lot of us that are not on contracts right now. There are a lot of companies that don't hire directly anymore. City doesn't hire directly anymore. A lot of companies don't. And so it's almost like a shuffle of talent. A lot of people have moved to Plano, Texas. For example, Goldman interviewed me last month. They said, and I fucked up. Honestly, I messed up the Goldman because when they interviewed me, they said 5 days a week. And I was like, nah, I don't want 5 days a week. Anton, I don't want to slave. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Look at me. I'm sweating. Anton, I'm sweating. I sweat. Anton, I don't want to work anymore, It's just, I bust my ass in this career. And I don't mean to be a crybaby about it, but like, 5 days a week at Goldman, I don't care. There was a time, Anton, when I was fighting to get into Goldman. I'm 15 years in my career. So many good companies on my resume. 2 years here, 4 years here. I'll be honest with you, I'm not coming at a senior level. I'm not coming 5 days a week. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I want to have a baby. I want to have a family. My husband's on his way from Nigeria. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Every hustle I put together in this city, they find a way to break it down. Airbnb broke it down. Every single hustle that we put together in this city, unless you want to slave and watch babies.
Well, you know what it
I'm
is.
grateful too. They pay me well.
New York is largely dependent on the fact that people still look at New York as New York. You know what I'm saying? It's still a place where everybody is at.
Brother.
Yeah, but they still depending on their reputation in order to continue to generate revenue, and so a lot of times they feel as though they can get away with a lot of the things that they doing and shutting stuff down, and that people will still make the adjustment and still want to be in New York City. I don't know how long that's gonna last. And you know why they making people come into the office, right?
Yeah, because they need to justify the rent on Vesey Street. They need to keep the rents going in the Amex building, in the Goldman building. Goldman's very expensive. It's right on the water, 200 Vesey. They need to keep that building. I understand a lot of places have already moved to Jersey. Like, for example, when I was working at City last year, I was in the Jersey City office, but they allow me. Now that program, that project, I'm done with that project. Now I'm potentially going on to another project. But my thing is, like, it's not even about the money, because when you're on it, it's good. It's about being in a company. Like, it's not the same anymore where they bring you. They've noticed that people don't commit the way they do. So instead of them committing to you, now they start to contractually hire. They start to put you in a different kind of program.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different from when they were making real investments as talent, which is fine because I don't want to be owned by corporate America. But brother, you know what I told my husband this morning? I said, you know what? I'm gonna create the Chat GPT girlfriend. I'm gonna create a North African Chat GPT girlfriend and call her Aisha, and she gonna make me money. That's it.
That's because you're a hustler.
That's it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make Aisha the most ambiguous North African woman coming from Kenya, living in Israel, and she's going to make me some money and replace my salary because I can't. I'm not gonna keep fighting for this, man. I worked hard. I'm blessed. Even my
Yeah.
husband said, be appreciative, and I am. I'm appreciative that they pay me 30 an hour to watch their baby.
Yeah.
But sir, I am a 95 an hour girl.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand. I got
Anton
you.
Daniels. Now, what's your Anton Daniels? What should I? I'm not complaining. What's the next strategy? Give me the move so I can make.
Well,
the move
you're a
now.
hustler,
I'm
and
not
you
afraid
already
to go
made
anywhere.
You already made up in your mind that you don't want to work in corporate America. So really, the only solution is to mine out what it is that you're gonna do outside of that, because you don't want to go into the office, and you want to be laid up with a baby. So when does your husband get here?
By November.
Yeah, I'll call you. I got your
I'm gonna
number.
play mass one more time in Trinidad. I'm gonna put on the beads and feathers one more time. I might even be pregnant on the road, and that's it. I'm done, man.
I'll call you. I got your information. We'll kick it.
That's it. I love you, Anton.
All
I
right,
do.
baby.
I love y'all, bag chasers. Peace.
I love you too, babe. Shout out to Black Beauty. I'm gonna start bringing y'all up. Let me see. Fearless is in the building. Fearless, I'm about to bring you up. Hold on, let me see. Fearless, do you want to be on camera? Give me a thumbs up if you want to be on camera. All right, cool. I got you. What up, Fearless? What up, though?
How you doing, Anton?
I'm doing well, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
First, can you get Rita to please put me on the list? I done wrote about 5 times, and you're saying you pulled it. So I don't know what to do to get a coaching call.
I told her to open it up, though, so she about to start doing it.
I'm going to send an email now and say my name and put it on there.
All right, cool. I got you. What's going on, my friend?
Yesterday and throughout the week, you've talked about Nia Long, Jada Smith, holding those women accountable.
Yeah. From the movies. Yeah.
Yes. So real life. I watched your show all week, and even last week I went to start it. You never brought Brittany Renner to the front of the congregation.
I can't.
I don't remember that, and I want to see why you've been hypocritical on that.
You think I've been hypocritical?
I think you've been hypocritical, and I think you are hypocritical, and you don't have a vision. You always say, you want to bring everyone is open. I can understand she's been on your show, and you may not want to criticize her. But even as a friend, you can say, hey, you were wrong.
But how do you know I didn't?
Maybe behind the scenes, but if you're going to bring everybody else to the front of the congregation, why haven't you brought her to the front of the congregation? Because
okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you have any female friends in real life?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Few, but yes.
Have you ever publicly criticized somebody that you didn't necessarily know, or something that you was just observing?
To a friend?
In general?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Would you criticize that female friend publicly if you have the ability to be able to contact them privately?
If I think that her behavior was,
because I could be wrong. I'm open to the possibility. But I'm just asking a question.
Outrageous. One, yes, and two, if I think that by
you would publicly criticize somebody that you know privately. I mean, somebody that you know in real life publicly.
Even if I don't call out their name, I would criticize them because I think it may
publicly
be good for the whole. Yes, and I'll tell you.
Wait! Stop there! You say even if you didn't call out their name.
Correct, but
no, you got to call out their name. How do we know who you referencing?
I'll call them out, and I'll tell you an example. I'll call them out.
Okay,
there are people that call me. I do not coaching. I do cloud architecture.
Okay,
and people have asked me, hey, how can I get into that? And I've tried to talk to them to go through it, and every time I've heard every excuse there is. I don't have time. I don't have 3 months to get a cert, whatever the case is. And I call them out. I'll call them out in the Facebook groups and I say, look, you had the nerve to call me. You had the nerve to say, this is what you want, but you don't have 3 months to put forth that effort, or you made every excuse in the book.
You call them out publicly?
Publicly.
But they contacted you privately?
Yes.
I think that is unprofessional.
Okay.
I think that
I
is
think
absolutely.
I think that you've been hypocritical.
Hold on. We gonna come back to me. I got time. We got plenty of time to talk about me.
I'll give you 2 examples.
Hold on, wait. Let's stop there. I don't want to skip. I don't want to skip around. Hold on. Okay. Let's go one thing at a time. You're gonna have plenty of time to be able to hold me accountable.
Fantastic.
You don't think that that's unprofessional that somebody contacted you privately and then you put them on blast publicly when they're asking for professional help?
It matters your relationship. I'll say that. If it's a
Why?
casual conversation,
Why does it matter the relationship?
Because I think the more intimate the relationship, the better your understanding you can talk to them.
But I still should never publicly blast somebody that contacted me privately. Under no circumstances.
Your daughter yesterday. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry?
You blasted your daughter yesterday.
I emphasize. I put my life. Hold on, wait. I put my life out publicly, right? Now I didn't specifically say what she did, but I emphasize the importance that it's important to discipline your daughter, right?
There you go. So why did you do that?
But I didn't put her business out there publicly.
Say what she did. But even with Brittany Renner, you didn't have to specifically say what she did.
Hold on. You still don't believe that it's wrong.
Like you did your daughter?
You still don't believe that it's wrong for you to publicly blast somebody that contacted you privately based off of a professional manner?
No, like I said, it still matters. If I'm saying, hey, don't contact me if you're not willing to do the necessary steps to get by, and this person contacted me, it matters what type of detail I can go in. But let me give you 2 examples.
Mm-hmm.
When everything happened with Just Pearly, I think O'Shea and MTR came out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't blast you. They just said, hey, this is our opinion. Anton sees something entirely different. Mm-hmm. We don't agree with it.
But guess what they did do first?
I don't think that was publicly
Guess what O'Shea did first?
He probably contacted you and let you know.
No, he called me and he asked me what it is that I thought. He asked me if I was okay with him doing it publicly. And I said, absolutely do it. That is dope. I'm cool with it. They would never blast me publicly. O'Shea would never do anything negative to me about me publicly because we have a real cordial relationship in real life. He knows me in real life. He would never do that without first getting some insight and asking for my permission to do so.
So let's get back to it. So why didn't you call? Did you talk privately to Brittany Renner about her behavior?
I will say that I've already emphasized that whatever it is between me and Britt is between me and Britt, right? Listen, I'll put it to you like this. No. I'm gonna be real, right? Because I call out guys and girls. You know that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think that I would ever say anything?
I'm upset you didn't call her out.
Hold on, wait. How come
everything.
nobody ever calls me and asks me why I don't put Charleston White on blast publicly?
Oh no, I think someone did say that to you previously. And
no, they don't.
And in response,
nobody has ever see, I'm not talking about no chats. I'm talking about nobody has ever on Fight Club, on these platforms, nobody has ever asked me to say anything negative about Charleston publicly. Why?
Maybe they agree with him, or maybe I'm not sure.
Nobody agrees with 100% of anything that nobody says.
I don't know of a time that he said something that I would be like, hey, you need to blast him.
You know why?
I still think you should say something either to him or say, hey, you was out of line on that.
No, that's not what you asked me to do at first. You asked me to publicly address it.
Okay. Yes. And you have a public platform. So what is preventing
Correct. But I also have private relationships. And I set a rule. I set a rule in the very beginning. And my rule has always been, and I've always said this, and you can substantiate this because you know enough about me to actually be able to justify this. Mm-hmm. I said that if I know you personally and you've been inside of my house and we've done business together in person and you know my family and you know my wife and I know your family and I know your son or I know your mother or anything like that, I will never, under any circumstances, ever throw you under the bus because I can contact you personally.
Well, I got to come to your house then.
No, hold on. Have I always said that?
Yes, I do remember you saying it.
So why should I now break the rule because y'all don't necessarily like what it is that she's done publicly?
I don't think, but because I didn't hear you mention anything about it. You put on blast all week about the fake eyelashes, all of these women, guys getting deleted by girls. I don't know them. I don't know them privately. But still, don't you think it's a learning lesson for others to understand and say, man, hold up. They say sometimes when you're silent, it's worse because it's almost like you're agreeing. For instance, if you see some type of racial injustice and you don't say anything, it's almost like you're agreeing with it. So in this instance, it kind of
if my brother went out there and slapped somebody tomorrow, I am going to talk to him personally and hold him accountable.
So you wouldn't say
you not gonna ever hear me talk to him personally and hold him accountable. Me and Charleston, we done had some get down, knock down, drag down, going back and forth conversations. And you know what? We best friends to this day. I just talked to him the other day. You not gonna ever know about any of the conversations or disagreements that I got with Charleston, if I ever have one, because that's my bro. Anybody that I've ever done business with in person, anybody that's ever came to my home, anybody that I've ever visited, I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman, I have a completely different standard by which I'm going to deal with you. You have never, ever heard me say anything negative to about Kevin Samuels. Did me and Kevin Samuels ever have disagreements? Absolutely. But that ain't for the public to know, because anything that I have a conversation, anything that I need to, I don't benefit him by having a public conversation in front of y'all. I'm not looking for justification from everybody else. I know them. I have access to them. I can contact them. And so that's the way I'm going to handle it. Anybody that I know in real life, and that was the main problem that I had with the whole Just Pearly situation, right? Is because I don't care what other people think. I'm not going to turn on somebody who I was just talking to a day or two, 3 weeks ago, a week ago, a month ago, and I got their phone number. And then all of a sudden, because the general public got a problem with them, I'm not going to call them and then have a conversation with them behind the scenes and say, hey, I don't agree with this, or I agree with this, or this is how you need to move differently, or so on and so forth. I am not anybody's puppet. And so I'm always going to keep it 100%, whether people disagree with people or whether people rock with them or they don't rock with them. If I know you in real life, I'm always going to keep it solid, and I'm never going to switch up on you just because the general public or the mob want me to do so. I'm never going to do that. And if you was my best friend, if you was my homie, if I knew you in real life, right, and you did something publicly, ain't no way in the world that I'm not going to give you a phone call, but I'm never going to throw you under the bus publicly, ever. I'm always going to hit you up.
You gave an example if your brother went and hit someone. So let's just say Charleston was out there and he hit a female. Even if you don't mention Charleston White personally, you should say, hey, I don't believe that in any other circumstances.
I don't have to say nothing.
Female. So it's
I don't have to say nothing. Anything that I got to say about somebody, if I know you, I'm going to call you and we can have that conversation in person. I'm never going to do something based off of what everybody else want me to do. Ever.
It's not about what everyone else. It's almost like if you don't address it, it's like condoning it.
No, it's not. Because that's what a private conversation is for.
But your platform is not private, Anton.
Correct.
You're on a public platform. So people look at your views and anytime that you do advice or you say things, people listen to that. But they also, like they say about children, it's not what you always say, it's sometimes your actions and what you don't say. And sometimes
if you got people in your circle that's willing to mention you or have a conversation about what they think about you publicly, even though you got a private relationship with them, get rid of them. They not your friends. They don't have your best interest at heart. And the minute that the opportunity comes for them to be able to get a bag or meet the expectation of what the general public think, they're going to throw you under the bus for money. That's not your friend. No. Hold on. Hear me out. That's in my personal opinion. And again, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. In my personal opinion, if you have somebody that knows you in real life, they have access to you in real life, but they willing to throw you under the bus publicly for the mob, but they can call you in private and they willing to mention your business or throw out what it is that they think about you publicly, that's not your homie. You should
I don't
get
think
rid
you
of
need-
them,
I don't even-
get rid of their number, block them, don't make them a part of your circle, don't kick it with them online, don't tell them nothing personal, don't bring them around your kids, your wife, never that. I would never, ever, ever, I don't care what you did, I can call you and hold you accountable. My brothers call me every single day, and they be like, Anton, I don't like the way you cussing online. I don't like the way you said this. I don't like the way you said that. But you know what they ain't going to ever do? No matter how much beef me and my brothers ever have, they will never, ever say nothing negatively about me, ever, publicly. They will
So
never
what if you
satisfy
didn't-
the mob, ever. They've had people reach out to them. They had people try to get stories on me. They had people that try to expose my business. You know what they tell the general public? This. And you know what they tell me? Anton, do this, and that, and I'm going to kick your butt when I see you, and we going to be having some furniture moving. Me and my brothers done had knocked down, dragged down, real life fights. But the public ain't going to never know about it. Ever.
We do know
I'm
about
never
it.
going to
Hold
throw
on,
my
stop.
people under the bus.
Yes,
Ever.
we do
You're
know
never
about
going to
it.
see that.
I'll give you an example. You had a fight with your nephew, and you stated you had a fight with your nephew.
But do you know
put
who
it
that
out there.
nephew is?
But stop, hold up. It
Do you
doesn't-
know who
but
the nephew is, though?
Anton, I
Nobody
don't know.
knows who the nephew is.
I understand. Hold up. So even if you did this, hey, if you were a celebrity and you've gone on a show and you've talked about how you need to reform and change, sometimes you shouldn't go on a platform and dance with someone else or show a different character. You didn't mention a name. You mentioned a circumstance of what they did and an action.
Correct.
I don't think that's when I say throwing someone on the bus or saying it. I don't think it's mentioning names. It's mentioning action. So when the person called me, I didn't mention them by name. I stated,
No, you
please
said
don't
that you would
call-
publicly address him. That's what you said.
But no,
You said you would publicly address him on a platform in which y'all are connected.
Publicly address the situation, not publicly call them out by name. And so that's what
Nah,
I mean.
man. No, that's not what you said.
But you can rewind it. We
I'm
got
gonna
it here.
rewind it. I said that I asked you specifically for clarification. I said, so
Would I
you
call
telling
him
me, I said, you telling me you would publicly call out somebody that then privately addressed you and you would throw them under the bus, and you said, and you basically
Yes.
confirmed it.
Yes. But I'm saying the situation, Anton, not the person specific.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If the most viral moment at that particular time is somebody doing something that you know publicly, and then I start to address the situation and I said that I disagreed with them, whether I mention a name or not, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
So why would I ever address publicly something that I know that people can tie me to, and then absolutely know that I'm talking about you? Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever throw my people under the bus when I can give you a phone call? I can call her. I can call her right now. I can call her right now. Why would I ever do that?
Why? Why did you bring up the women that's on Love and Basketball? Why did you bring them up?
Because I don't know them, and it's a reference so that I can address a specific situation. I don't know them. They not my friends. I don't know them hoes.
So is it better to make a fictional reference or real life?
I'm not fictionally reference it. I didn't even watch the video. When people sent me the video, I'm not even watching the video because I don't even want to know. I don't even want to be in a position where I'm subconsciously addressing something that people think that I know or think that I'm talking about them. I'm not even going to watch the video because I know you in real life and I can give you a phone call. I'm never going to throw somebody that I know in real life under the bus, ever.
If you don't watch the video, how can you address their actions?
I don't.
So you don't talk, you just...
Not publicly. I can call them and say, hey, what the fuck was going on?
No, and you don't have to call. You don't have to call nobody.
You want me? No, this is what you want, right? You want to know if we had a conversation about it and they just gave me their perspective of what happened, right? Because I don't need to look at the video in order to get their perspective. I know them in real life.
Okay.
Why do I need to look at a video?
I think that because it gives you the perspective of what's going on.
Listen, I may be dead wrong, but I'm willing to die on a hill. I don't care if it's Pearl. I don't care if it's anybody that you know. I'm never going to throw them under the bus, ever. In any circumstance, if I know them or I do business with them, I'm not throwing them under the bus. That's just the way that it is.
But I think if you're going to report, you should be addressing some of those situations. I think it's better
I'm not doing
for
it.
the other people. I understand.
I'm just solid like that. I'm not
we
doing
can
it.
agree to disagree on that, but I hope we don't disagree on my coaching call.
Listen, I don't think that we you don't 100% agree with everything that anybody says. I wouldn't hope so, because then that would just be a yes man. But in a general sense, the way that I was raised is that if you have the ability to be able to contact somebody, the manly thing to do, the professional thing to do, the real thing to do is to pick up the phone and call them. And these people got my number. I have their number. I've met their family members. I've met people close to them. I won't talk about them behind their back, whether we online or to somebody that I know just in general. If I ever feel like I need to address somebody, I can call them. You will never hear me say nothing negatively about anybody that I know that I've done business with or they know my family. Man, I know some of these people's mothers and they brothers and they wives and they husbands and they significant others. I'm not doing that. I'm never going to do that. Not if I have the ability to be able to contact you in real life. I can call you. Why would I do that?
I think it's something you should address, but I won't harp on it. I do have another question for you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
You get a lot of coaching calls. You get people who are asking you, how can they better their lives? I had someone do the same for me. How do you address someone when you keep telling them A and they keep fighting you all the way? I'll give you an example. The gentleman was doing, desktop or customer service.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to go more. And I said, well, why don't you go to Pluralsight or Cloud Guru? You can learn these lessons and go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if I don't like my job? What if I don't like when I get there?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed that every time I gave him advice, it was he found something to go against.
So how do you coach somebody that don't want to change?
Yes.
You let them suffer.
No. All right.
Sometimes people have to go through things. And what I found is that when people are ready to change, they'll then start to reach out to you again. So like I've coached people. Let's just say I talked to a guy a year ago, right? And then I gave him some advice. And you see people in the chat sometimes, they'll even send a super chat and say, man, you gave me some advice a year ago. I didn't listen. I need to get a coaching call with you because I'm now in a space to where I can hear it and I messed up, right? Everybody is not going to necessarily take the advice. Everybody is not going to execute in the time frame that you think that they're going to execute. Coaching calls for me may be a little bit different a lot of times when people call me than they are with a lot of other people that they get coaching from, is because I'm looking to understand you. So for example, the first time that I talk to somebody on a coaching call, whether it's a Zoom call or a personal call, I'm not going to coach you. I'm going to listen to, I want to understand you. I'm going to ask questions. I'm curious about your background. I want to know why you got to the space that you got to, because the problem that you may have may not even necessarily be based off of the question that you're asking me, right? You could be asking me a question about a career change, but the real issue that you have is something that's deeper than that. But because I don't understand you, I don't have a vested interest in seeing you successful. It's two things that make coaching calls successful. And this goes for all my coaches out there. It's two things that make coaching calls successful. I can go off on a person that I'm coaching because they know that I'm actually caring about what's best for them and that I have their best interest at heart. And it's because I understand them. I've built that relationship with them. So the first thing that coaches need to do is stop looking at people that they're coaching as clients. They have to start looking at them as a personal relationship. They got to build a friendship with them. They got to understand them. They got to know why they think the way they think. What's their sentiment? They need to be able to call them in the middle of the night. They need to have that vested interest in them being successful. So that's A. The first thing that you have to have is a vested interest with the person that you're actually building. And the first call that y'all have with people, stop asking them or stop solving for their problems and start making them give you the insight that you need in order to help them actually become the best version of themselves. That's the first thing. The second thing that coaches need to do is that they need to start being patient with people and then tailoring whatever it is that that person needs based off of where they at that time. A lot of times, and I'm not saying this is just for you, I'm just giving this in general. A lot of times what coaches do is they like to give a one-size-fits-all solution based off of what they understand instead of what the person needs. And that's where the understanding comes from, right? It's literally a leapfrog into how it is that I can help you become the better version of yourself, right? They could have problems at their job, but that problem can inherently be based off of something that they're going through at home. You solve for the problem at home. You solve for the problem that they got at the job, because their interpersonal communication skills are being affected by the thing that they have to come home to every day, right? So if I don't know the inner details of what's going on in somebody's life, I can't help them become the better version of themselves, because it's all interconnected. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the best thing to do is to look to understand them first, understand where it is that they're trying to go, and then start to be patient with how it is that they need to develop themselves, because it could be problems outside of whatever it is that they're asking you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one thing, I don't charge. I'm do mentors, so there's a lot of college students that come through for co-ops or training, and through my YouTube channel, people have reached out because I had a video about digital nomads. But I find it's our culture, man.
Well, part of it is also that you're not charging. When people are easily able to get your services for free, they don't take it as serious for what it is that you're giving them.
But the people, I tell you, like Indians, Asians, and even whites that I've given advice to, never an issue. Oh, you've been in this architecture, you've been doing cloud development, security.
Yeah.
What is your insight? How can you get there? And I'll say, hey, here's a path that you can go down. Even if you don't like that path, look at the various things that you can do, some skill training, and see which one you like. You're in a co-op, rotate, see where you're at. I've tried to give that same advice to our people. And it's sad because, like when people graduate and they come in to hire, and they come in at maybe $80,000, $90,000. You're 22 years old making that. But I can't get our people to realize that. It's just like a laziness.
You got to look at them as individuals. You can't look at them as our people. You got to look at them as individuals. They may embrace the culture, but the way in which they learn might be a little bit different. So the way you got to unlock them in order to get them to the space that they in, you got to take a different approach. You can't look at them as a whole. You got to look at them as an individual.
All right. Yeah, I think
and charge for your time. And I'm not saying charge a lot of money. Even if you just charge based off of what your time is worth, that the amount of money that you make per year divided by 8,760, you still need to make them pay something. And the reason that you have to make them pay something is because then they value it differently, and you're not wasting your time when you could have been doing something else that was more valuable for yourself. At the very least, you don't want it to be a negative effect based off of what you would usually use your time for. You want to at least justify the amount of. I don't make money from my coaching calls. I only make money from the corporate calls, because the only thing that I require people to pay, because I want to reach the people, is the amount that my time is worth based off of what it is that I make per year. So if I could be building something over here, if I could be spending time with my daughter, but I'm taking time in order to kick it with you, I'm not trying to be profitable off of you because I'm already doing well in life. I just want you to be able to substantiate my time, and I want you to take serious what it is that we doing here. So that's the reason why I charge what I charge. Everybody else, they charge things based off of what it is that they want to make money for. It's a business. I get it. I don't do it like that. I do it based off of just justifying my time. And I also need you to take serious what it is that we building together. So that's what the difference is between me and a lot of other people.
You're right. And I the reason I didn't charge is because when I came into the space, even on my team, there may be 5 Indians, 6 whites, 2 Asian. I'm the only African American on there. And even in the business, in STEM, I've seen that. And I wanted to bring as many brothers into there because there's a bag out there. There's money to be made. And I don't see any of them getting there. So I said, if I can just mentor, if I can give them some advice, if I can open up these doors without charging, maybe they'll get a better understanding, or they'll be motivated to step up. But
yeah, I got you. All right. Well, yeah, man. Hit me up, man. We can kick it. And I appreciate you for coming up here and holding me accountable.
No problem. Just let Rita know I'm going to be writing. I appreciate it, Anton. Thank you.
I bet. Thank you, my friend. All right, let me go to Dev. I'm going to be reading y'all super chat shortly. I'm going to go to Dev, and then I'm going to go to Jalen. Dev, you want to be on camera? Give me the thumbs up. All right, cool. What up, Dev? What up, though?
What up, man?
How you been, man?
Busy as hell.
Okay, all right. What's the word?
Security is definitely. I never had to manage so many people at the same time.
That's a good problem.
I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm out here helping different men and women get back to where they got to be, going through their issues. Their issues become mine if they're not available. I just picked up 3 more accounts. I got to hire probably about another 12 to 15 more people. So
That's
my
probably one of the hardest problems that you're gonna have is finding the right people to fill the roles that you need.
sure is. But I'm doing about 70 hours a week. My whole family is loving it, but hating it. But we're doing what we got to do.
I mean, you get into a bag then.
I ain't accounting. I'm just working.
Uh-oh. You know somebody getting some money when they get into that bag. I already told you you predicted that you was gonna be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So what else is going on, my friend? What's the word?
So I'm on the phone today because the crime stuff that I've been front row seat for this stuff has been bananas.
Hmm?
And one of my stores is next to Kensington Avenue, your favorite street of So I'm interacting with these people daily.
That's messed up, man. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. I know that y'all just had y'all police commissioner go over and move or whatever, so on and so forth. But everything is messed up over there, man. I don't know how I don't even know how you sticking around for that, man.
Because there's money involved. That's all.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it, but man, I don't know, man. Some of these cities, I don't want y'all to be the last ones out. I don't want y'all to be the ones that turn the lights out.
Well, the city is one thing, the suburbs is something else. So you can separate yourself from some of it. It's more about making sure my guys are doing what they gotta do so they're protected.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the policies that these companies have are hands off to a point where the guys have a lot of testosterone of being challenged of,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm not gonna go. I'm like, it's insured. Chill out. They literally paying you to do nothing but record it and call the police. And they want to take it into their own
Yeah.
hands. I gotta get it done. So, fighting that natural instinct to do the right thing, even though they might have been in part of that life at one point, has been the biggest thing. So hiring people like that, hiring people that's not too lazy, but willing to do what they gotta do, and having an answer to.
Yep, I feel you. How's the family doing? How's your girl doing?
She's doing well. She's doing well.
Is that her right there?
Yes, and it's like every time, like randomly it's on with you. I get in the car and he's talking to you, and I'm like,
What's up, baby girl? How you doing over there? I don't even want to talk to you no more, Dev. What's up, baby girl?
Hi.
Ooh, wait, you done switched it up on us. Okay, what's going on? Where you about to go?
It's Friday. I'm going.
Is it just because it's Friday?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to compliment you in front of Dev because he gonna be acting all jealous and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? How you doing? Is he treating you well?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm glad that you guys are doing well. I'm glad that you guys are thriving. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna clip this one up. Y'all gonna be all right on this one. Well, listen, I'm glad that you guys are having fun. I'm glad that y'all happy. I'm glad that things is going well. Keep me in the loop, all right?
We will.
We're probably gonna be at a Patreon meetup one of these times. You'll come down,
That's what's up. I'll be in DC in October, late October. So.
Oh yeah, we can just drive down because that's only 2 hours. So yeah.
Yep. All right, that's what's up. All right, y'all. Y'all have fun. Don't get in no trouble.
I'm staying out of trouble. I'm too damn tired. She done caught me sleeping by picking her up to go.
You can't be tired, man. It's Friday. Now she gonna be looking for some action tonight.
I took 10 minutes to get some rest. She laughed at me.
Listen, this ain't the time to get tired. She done got dressed up. You know what I'm saying?
I'm up now.
She done got dressed up. She ready to go out. I don't know what you thinking.
I mean, I paid for it. It's cool. I got it.
Mm-hmm. Y'all have fun tonight. Let me know. Keep me in the loop.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
All right, see y'all. I'm going to go to Jalen, and then I'm going to come to Jason, and then we're going to wrap it up. Jalen, you want to be on camera? All right, I got you. Jalen, you got to steady the camera. You about to give me what is it, vertigo or something like that?
My bad. I'm over here working in the truck.
Oh man, you over there getting it. All right, so I'll give you a pass. What's up, Jalen? What's the word? What you got for me?
Man, it's a pleasure, man, just to even talk to you, man, for real. Uh, First and foremost, I'm in the bag chasers since like probably like 2-3 months now. I was from Indy. I heard you shout it out, I think, last time. I'm from Indianapolis.
Yeah, I love Indianapolis. So it's a
Yeah,
convention city.
it's cool.
Y'all got some little rinky-dink strip clubs over in Indianapolis. Don't ask me how I know though. Don't ask me how I know. Y'all listen, let me tell you what Indianapolis is like. Indianapolis has a great convention city. They have a phenomenal zoo. They have a great biking, walking, but they strip clubs is
I give you that. Is that because
I get
of the
around.
women in there?
I'll be in these streets.
Is it because of the women in there? What was you saying the bad part about it?
I'm gonna be quiet.
Ah, man, you gotta tell them, dog. I was
Man,
just in there last week.
these little hood rats don't know what they doing, man. I don't know what y'all hiring over in Indianapolis. Y'all need better management of these strip clubs over in Indianapolis, bro.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It was that was probably my last time going for a while. I just went last week and I was like, man, this shit dead. I ain't gonna lie. They don't know what they doing.
I agree.
Like they don't. It is what it is. But I wanted to talk about the culture, bring up a subject. See, I also emailed you about I'm in dire need of a coaching call because my life been I'm 30 now, so I'm over here trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? So I emailed you, it's jleno9590 @gmail, and I hit you up in the message you in the Patreon.
All right,
But
bet I got you. So what's your concern? What's wrong?
The culture today is just like it's the dudes and the women. I do want to tell the women because I really don't care about the dudes unless they just.
I don't know what happened to your camera, but I'm rocking with you. Go ahead.
Hold on, I want to I'm looking at this tweet on the mindset of the women today.
Go ahead, just go ahead. Give me the skinny.
Said Krishan said her baby hadn't cried yet since she delivered him. Somebody else responded, he isn't crying because he know what that is already. He been hearing her cry and he wants to give her peace. And I definitely believe that. She needed this baby boy. And then I replied, was like, I quote tweeted it and was like, so you want the baby with the mother, but not in a union? Like, you don't see how toxic they relationship been, and the baby not about to have a daddy. Like, he ain't about to be there for her and the kid. Like, they not together in no marriage. My thing is, it's like the culture as a black man, a 30-year-old black man, why would I wife any of these bitches? Like, it's just like, do you see the mindset y'all be on? Y'all rather have a baby by a toxic nigga, and don't get me wrong, I've been a toxic nigga before. But again, on the low, we gonna stack because they'll tell the public about what Mr. Leno baby do. Facts. But yeah, why would our wife just as my? You gotta see our insight. I'm still a bachelor, no kid. But why would I give any of you kids or marry you? Y'all already got 2-3 babies, and then y'all cool with just mixing families, bro. I'm not cool with that. Like, at the end of the day, there's no more morals. There's no nothing in our generation no more. We don't stand on nothing. You feel me? And it's like, I did bullshit when I was a young nigga, like, I still be messing up. But I'm saying,
What
like,
you be messing up on, Jay?
I drink a little too much. You know what I mean?
What else?
I done. You know, sometimes I slip up with a shorty when I'm drunk. When I'm drunk, it just go bad. You feel me? Like, we already know that.
What you
like,
mean slip up? You got to give us some context for that.
I'll black out.
Oh
And, yeah, something might happen. I might even hit a fat hole. You feel me? Just cause I gotta have my people tell me like, "Yo, you tripping? Like, what you doing?" You know what I mean? I don't go out looking for trouble, man. I'm still like a happy-go-lucky person and shit. Like, I don't go out and fight and shit. But yeah, I be tweaking sometimes. But
Jay, you like them big?
no, I really don't though. That's what I'm saying. I'm liable to do it if I'm drunk though. You know what I'm saying?
Jay. You like them a little husky?
I'm trying to change, man. I basically done read, and here's another. That'll go into my other segment of saying,
Jay.
Yeah.
You don't just automatically fall into a big girl's lap, bro. That got to be a little bit more intentional.
Bro, I'm trying. I mean, you know, now they say it's thick, man, but it's probably fat. Same shit now. That's what they say. Like.
So Jay, you like them big boned, basically.
No, I seen Q. She, you know, she got nice size. She cute. You feel me? Like, that's my type. You feel me? Light skin.
You like them red bone?
Facts. Ain't nothing like them. They just a little crazy though. That's what I'm saying. It's like
you like them crazy too.
I did, but that
you did like them crazy. Jay, it sounds like you're a little toxic, my friend.
That's why I need a coaching call, dog. I'm trying to tell you that my 20s, man.
You don't need no coaching call for somebody to tell you that you're toxic. You already know you're toxic.
Oh yeah, I know I'm toxic. I'm saying I'm trying to change. I'm 30 now. I'm trying to change. It's like, all right, I didn't know I was toxic back then. I'm like, I'm just doing me. But now I realize when I reflected,
you knew you was
a little bit, a little bit. Facts.
All right, Jay, hit me up, man. Send me an email, man. Or
right,
send me
man.
a follow-up email so I can have it at the top of my inbox.
Okay, and get me in one of the Mondays, man. They don't want to hear me, man. I ain't gonna lie. I already told Q. I was like, I got good topics, man. Well, I'm a good controversial dude.
I can't pull no strings. Q is Q. Q
Yeah,
runs Mondays. I don't even know who's gonna be on there until I show up on a Monday night.
Yo, Q, holla at Mr. Leno, baby. I already hollered at you on that. On God.
Q, he won't Mr. Leno. Q, he won't Mr. Leno baby at gmail.com. And he wants you to have his baby, Q. That's what he told me. So.
Facts. All right, man. It was appreciated.
All right, big dog. My dog. Nah, this is one of my guys. Shout out to my guy, Jason. Jason, you want to be on camera? All right, Jason. I'm about to pull you up. Jason in the building. What up, Jason?
What's up, Anton?
Chilling. I can't hear you. You kind of low. I can hear you, but you just kind of low for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just a little low, but it's all right. I got you. I can hear you well enough. What's up, Jason?
1 second. I'll just change the. Hello? Can you hear me now?
There you go, Jason. What up, Jason? What's the word, big dog? Where you been at? How's life been treating you, bro?
It's been busy, man. Busy as hell. Like, it's been, I think, a month since we had our last coaching call.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing what you told me to do.
Mm-hmm. How's it been going?
I opted for the boot camp route for the cybersecurity thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that I'm looking into cybersecurity, right? And I'm just thinking, like, why can't I do this for digital marketing as well?
Why can't you?
You know what I mean? Exactly. So, like,
you can
I
do
feel like
both.
I'm starting over. Really? I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm doing a lot.
You lazy, Jason. You just lazy. That's all it is.
Nobody says that to me, bro. Nobody says I'm lazy.
That's why I'm me, and I'm not everybody else. You just lazy. Why you being lazy, bro?
I'm not, though. I'm not lazy, bro.
You don't have anything else to do. What are you talking about?
Yo, I got stuff to do. I am
you don't.
busy.
What else? What
Bro.
you got to do that's more important? What you got more to do that's more important than getting to the bag? Tell me.
I'm getting to the bag.
Tell
That's
me what
I
her.
gotta
Tell
do.
me what her name is.
She don't got no name.
Oh, okay. So you ain't even got to worry about no little hoe slowing you down. Okay. So what else you got to
I don't
do
gotta
other
worry
than get to
about
the
that.
bag?
What do you mean? Like, no, I'm just saying, like, cybersecurity and digital marketing. I just feel like I could just concentrate on one area
Why would you just want to
instead of
concentrate
going
on
on
one
both.
area?
Because it's both those fields are like vast, and they have subsectors in their own field.
So
So
why are you just trying to concentrate on one area then? If both of them are bags, listen. Your problem is capacity. Your problem isn't the actual fields or the jobs themselves. One of them, think about it like this: everything that I do, I always put an iron in the fire for the next 10 to 15 years, right? Even when it comes to content creation, I never expected for YouTube to be anything, and my anticipation was to work it for the next 10 to 15 years while also doing the short term thing. The short term thing is the thing that then paid my bills at that particular time. And then also doing the midterm thing. And the midterm thing was the thing that was going to come to fruition. It might have been profitable at the time, but it was the thing that was going to really come into fruition within the next 2 to 5 years, right? And so, for example, you may be going to school, and the going to school thing may be the 2 to 5 year thing, right? That may be the thing that's going to be lucrative in the midterm. You may have the thing that's making you money right now, and I don't want you to go into your specific career and everything that you got going on anyway online right now, but you may have the thing that pays your bills right now. You can still become successful in that. And then you have the midterm thing, and then you have the long-term thing. The long-term thing is the business that may not be profitable for the next 5-6 years, but you have the capacity because you're still able to pay your bills. You're still going to be leveling up when it comes to the 2 to 5 year plan, but you also want to have that iron in the fire that's going to be profitable long term that can then really take you to the next stratosphere, right? So you can do more than one. You just need to be able to time box it more effectively, which is where your calendar comes in, right? Because your calendar is the thing that's going to justify how it is that you're spending your 24 hours. And so if you're not managing your calendar effectively, then that's the thing that's going to prevent you from really being able to level up in all of those things at the same time. But you have the ability to do so. I'm just not sure if you're able to manage your time as effectively as you should.
I'm working with a couple of agents at the moment regarding the real estate thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do use the Google
Now, that was
Calendar to
tricky, though.
schedule out. What?
That was a tricky situation, though.
There's two sources
Based off of the
there's two,
circumstances that you was telling me about.
I mean, there's the policy claim that's coming in a month or so, and then there's the letter of administration I gotta get in like February.
Well, hold on.
there's two things.
I don't want you to go into details and putting all your business online because there's a bunch of people watching this. Send me a message or send me an email or something like that, and then we can figure it out. But I don't want you to put that. I don't want you to put that specific thing in the you know what I'm saying, that public
We're gonna be
information
meeting
into
next
the
Tuesday.
sphere. All right, yeah, just email me and I'll figure that out. I'll confirm it. Probably not next Tuesday because I gotta take a flight next Tuesday. I might actually be able to fit you in next Tuesday, but I definitely got to take a flight Tuesday afternoon because I got to go down to Dallas and shoot some and do a show. So
Okay. There's one thing I disagree with you about though.
Okay, go
it's
ahead.
not a disagreement.
Hold me
It's-
accountable.
I got a contentious view.
All right, go ahead.
It's about the Nvidia stock.
Okay, go ahead. What you think is overinflated?
It is overinflated.
You think so, huh? So what is the true valuation of the Nvidia stock? Because I've been riding it for a long time and it's been very
I know,
profitable for
no,
me.
I'm not saying that it's not it's not what it is, but I'm just saying that in a sense that in a couple since July,
Mm-hmm.
The CoreWeave, Magnetar Capital,
Mm-hmm.
they're just all hedge fund managers, bro. They're all hedge fund managers.
But how does that?
And-
Okay, so how is that
they
relevant to
have
the
a-
valuation of the stock itself?
They're overinflating it. They just bought
How?
a couple hundred
Okay, so
million.
what's the true valuation if it's overinflated?
I mean, it's good to where it's at, but I just feel like
Nope, you got to give me a number, and then you got to be able to justify that number. right? Because the valuation of a company, no, you gotta help me to understand why it's off, right? Because I look for 8
No, but
things
it doesn't.
specifically when I'm trying to justify the valuation of a stock,
Right,
right?
right.
And
I
so
looked at that
when
too.
you look at the valuation of them, it's not just based off of their profits, which is largely being fueled by the AI boom, and also by, obviously the semiconductor chips and all of this other type of stuff, where it is that they're positioned. But it's also being fueled based off of where their potential is and also their competitors, right? And so when you start to look at that, and you also looking at where their position is in the marketplace compared to where their competitors are, they're I believe that they may be a little bit undervalued than where they currently are. I think that they're going to go much, much higher.
I just think that it's kind of bubbly in the sense that, of course, NVIDIA is the best at the gaming software, and they're doing all the real life, real time like games.
So who's their competitors? Qualcomm?
Yeah, I mean Qualcomm's second place, but what
Qualcomm
I'm
is
saying
third
is,
place.
what my point is that CoreWeave in and of itself, like how they got like they've been just a mining company, but at a couple of months they just pivoted, and now they're like this huge chip manufacturer. They just came out of nowhere, and I
They
just
didn't come
think
out
that
of
that's a red
nowhere.
flag.
What makes you think they came out of nowhere? Their core business has always been their core business.
They've been just mining out coins for a couple.
No, they haven't.
Before July.
What is their true valuation? You got to start with a baseline.
That's what I'm saying. What is their true valuation?
No, hold on. Because in order to establish something as a bubble, right? You're also going to have to give me a target of where it is that their true valuation is, because that means that they're due for a correction, right? I don't think that they're going to have a correction at all. There is no correction in their stock price. It is going to continue to go up based off. Okay, here, let's do it like this. Let's use a different example, right? A lot of people call Tesla a bubble. Over the last 10, 15 years, everybody has called Tesla a bubble. How do you justify whether a stock is a bubble, or how do you justify exactly what the true value of the stock is, right? Because the reason why a lot of people call Tesla a bubble is because they looked at them as an auto manufacturer instead of a technology company, right? They didn't see what the vision of what Elon Musk was selling, and so they were only going based off of what the Model S sales was, and their inability or the problems that they were having with regard to trying to launch the Model Y. The valuation of Tesla had nothing to do with what their current profits were, because they were in the negative, right? Whereas you could take a Toyota, you could take a GM, and they were incredibly profitable, but obviously those that had any vision of what Elon Musk was trying to build, and now you have all of these other manufacturers starting to become a technology company. Tesla is an innovative technology company, which is why they continue to take over the world, right? Their ability to be able to structure deals with China, that was unprecedented based off of his own rock star status, right? The fact that he don't even have to need a PR team. They don't even have a marketing department, because he's largely able to have a conversation on Twitter and then continue to push the stock price up or down based off of how it is that you follow his life. The one problem that I have with Tesla, and then I'm going to relate it back to NVIDIA, the one problem that I have with Tesla is that they're largely dependent on Elon Musk in order for them to continue to be successful, meaning that their fortunes is tied directly to whether or not he's going to be participating on a day-to-day basis within the company. That's why when he goes over to Twitter and he's taking over there, or he's spending the majority of his time in SpaceX, the stock price goes down. So he doesn't necessarily have a succession plan. The marketing of the company is largely dependent on the fact that it's tied to Elon Musk, which is much different than what Steve Jobs did when he started to instill the culture of Tim Cook into running the CEO, right? So that's my only problem with Tesla. But my point is this: the valuation of Tesla was not based off of just the profits or the management at that particular time. It was based off of a lot of other factors, the intangibles that people wasn't paying attention to. NVIDIA is largely positioned to continue to be the source, and you also got to take into consideration everything that's going on with manufacturing in the United States of America, the war with China, semiconductor chip shortages, what's largely going to be fueling the AI boom, all of the new technology that's going to be coming out, especially all of the headsets. The metaverse is still going to be coming, even if it's coming slower. So you got to start taking all of that stuff into consideration. I still think it's going to be a thing, because if it wasn't a thing, then Facebook still wouldn't be investing in it. It may not come as the big thing that everybody anticipated it to be, but the internet is going to continue to evolve, especially now that you're going to have these headsets. That's exactly what they're making it for. It's not just augmented reality. It's also going to be sourced for different purposes. It's going to be all immersive, even when it comes to gaming. Gaming is going to largely change, and it's not just going to be based off of what you holding a controller for, right? That is going to be interactive. When I start doing my shows 5-10 years from now, it's going to be interactive to where you'll actually be able to sit in the audience, and it's going to be based off of the innovation of the people that come before it, not necessarily just based off of the technology. So they're going to have to sell the technology, but then they're going to have to incentivize people to continue to build applications to make it more immersive for the audience. So it's a lot that goes into it, but I think that NVIDIA is well positioned to continue to go up, and I think that they may be a little bit undervalued, personally.
I'm not even saying NVIDIA is being undervalued. I'm saying that the stock price of NVIDIA is inflated. And I'm saying
I don't
that
think
CoreWeave,
so.
as
That's
a
where the
company,
valuation comes from. It's their stock price.
right?
Shares outstanding multiplied by the stock price itself. That's the valuation of the company. It's the shares outstanding. How many shares is out there multiplied by the stock price itself?
So you're saying that even though Magnetar Capital, which is funding CoreWeave, and CoreWeave, which is funding NVIDIA and their chips, even if their CEOs and the back end of the company is all hedge fund managers, and they're kind of like they had a shady past concerning
the core of the business
think
the core of the business is still
you think
fundamentally
NVIDIA's going to
strong,
carry?
regardless of the hedge funds that's then backing a lot of what it is that's being done. The industry is literally dependent on them in order for them to continue to innovate. We're not going backwards technologically. We're going to go forward. We're never going backwards. And there's going to be some core players that then capitalize off of what's going to happen as long as we continue to move with innovation. The only thing that you can bank on, or the only thing that I can see to start to disrupt the industry themselves, is if you start to have companies themselves start to self-manage or make their own core products that then invade on what NVIDIA is putting together. But other than that, I don't see it happening at all. If you see something happening in NVIDIA like what's happening over to Qualcomm, then that's one thing. But I think that NVIDIA is a phenomenal company, and they're going to stay in my portfolio for a long time.
Yeah, me too. I also think that Asia's in big trouble. Like with America doing what it is, like NVIDIA doing what it is, I think Asia's in big trouble.
Well, that's why we got to pay attention to what's happening in Taiwan.
Even Taiwan, they're kind of.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I believe that there may be a war for Taiwan themselves because of Asia starting to fall behind in what's going on as far as chip technology.
Yeah.
If any war breaks out over in any of these countries as large chip manufacturers, it's going to be based off of economics and finances. It's going to be a manufactured war. It's not going to be something that's actually justifiable. So a lot of factors play into the valuation or what's going on within certain industries. We just got to pay attention to it so we can make more informed decisions. That's why you got to pay attention to who's lobbying. You got to pay attention to who's in these government entity pockets. You got to pay attention to what side, the left or the right, is going to be in office. You can't let them sell you on what the core issue of what's happening in America, because that's largely just going to be a smokescreen for what we really need to be concerned about, especially as investors. So it's going to be a whole nother conversation, I think, a year from now once we start to get into this election season, though. That's just my opinion, though.
Election
you got me going deeper than I would normally go on a surface level as far as what we talk about on the Millionaire Morning Show. You got me going into stuff that I would go into on the Discord, debating certain financial subjects, stuff like that. Usually we just try to keep it surface level so that we can get people even interested in what is best for them from a financial perspective. But now we're starting to go a little bit deeper. So,
oh man, it's I love what you do, man. I always listen to your morning shows, and I kind of chime in with the super chats a bit. But yeah, I love what you do, bro.
Yep.
I'll
All
see
right,
you on
my
the
friend.
12th.
Okay, I'll see you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I love talking to y'all on Fridays on the Millionaire Morning Show. Make sure y'all tap in the Fight Club. This is what I do, man. This is what we do. We tackle the subjects that ultimately are entertaining, but ultimately come back down to the money. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I also appreciate you guys for jumping up here and holding me accountable and saying, Anton, I agree with you, or Anton, I don't agree with you. I think that you guys are absolutely awesome, and I appreciate that because I don't know everything, but I know a lot. All right. I love you guys. I need you to do me one. Oh, let me read some of the super chats. I got to make sure that I acknowledge the people. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, I'm surprised Airbnb isn't suing for unfair practices. I don't know what Airbnb is going to do. I don't know what Airbnb is going to do. Sister Vaginetta says, all you Airbnb owners better join the bag chasers and learn how to build tenants and learn how to screen tenants. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. I appreciate you. Also, on top of that, Kobe Jordan is in the building, says, I am no longer betting on corporate America. Made $2,500 this week on oh no, don't do that. On Prize Picks and continuing my hustle. Every day bet on yourself and watch what happens. Less stress, more innovative. Don't do it on Prize Picks though, fam. You can do more than one thing at a time. Oh my God, don't do it. Shout out to Kobe Jordan. No, I appreciate you for the super chat. Chris J is in the building. Shout out to Chris J, says, I know I'm not that smart, but I'm willing to bet my money that Brittany Renner is not Anton's daughter unless he and Rita could actually adopt adults. You know what's so funny? When I did the interview with her, she was like, oh my God, I wish I was your daughter. That's literally what she said in the interview. Go on to Patreon and watch the full interview. It's up there. Shout out to my dog, Chris J. Cassandra Powell says, I say continue to protect Brittany, especially if you and her have a private bro and sis relationship. So many people already view her negatively, so the thirst for her to be put on blast is crazy. I'm just not throwing people under the bus out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a different type of dude. I got a whole nother different moral compass, you know? Chris J says, why do we want other people to call out individuals so bad? Don't your mouth work? Pause. You be the catalyst for the change you want to see. Shout out to Chris. I appreciate you, bro. Torrance Daniels is in the building. Shout out to Torrance. Says that's hard for people to grasp. You never put your real friends and family business out there for general public call and talk. I'll do you one better, Torrance. You don't even have to be close to me. You don't even necessarily have to be a friend. You don't even have to be a family member. I just have a level of professionalism with the people that I tend to do business with that I think that supersedes what mob or Rome, what the mob rule or what Rome would want me to do. And so I just have a level of ethics, morals. If anybody ever get a coaching call with me, I'm not about to put your name out there unless it's something that you agree that I can highlight that's good about you, that I can say that you had a victory or something that was dope, or you volunteer the information and then I elaborate or I add additional context to. I just have a ethics and a moral compass that don't allow me to just go down a certain path regardless of how egregious y'all think that the behavior is that another person executes, right? And I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. I wouldn't want the people that's closest to me, if they seen a bunch of people coming for me and calling for my head, that they just automatically turn on me based off of that. I wouldn't want it done to me, and so I wouldn't do it to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Prince Elian is in the building, says great leaders publicly praised and privately correct. I appreciate you. Brock is in the building, says pass a love offering. Can't wait to see what Erica Williams. I love her informative content. Erica will be here in a minute, actually. It's funny. So shout out to Erica. The Carolinas, DJ K Smooth is in the building, says no in hell I'd submit to being coached by anyone that I can't trust to keep secret that which we discuss in private. Absolutely unprofessional. Thank you for being you, brother Anton. Shout out to my dog, DJ, the Carolinas, DJ K Smooth in the building. Prince Elian says that second caller asked you, how did you address someone? When you keep telling them, they keep fighting you all the way after he fought you about addressing personal business publicly. Shout out to Prince Elian. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. And then last but not least, my girl, Messy Mathematician said, hey, Tom, how you know about the indie script clubs? Shh. You said not to ask, but peep my name. Just kidding. Best show on YouTube. Shout out to my girl, Messy Mathematician. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you guys for continuing to tap in. Shout out to all of my friends over on Facebook. Shout out to all of my friends on YouTube. Shout out to you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you tune into Fight Club, and more importantly, get into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.